collectors, and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming. I'm a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. We have a different setup today. I had to rearrange my whole office just so Sarge could sit that way so we can look at each other while we talk to make it look a little bit more realistic here. So appreciate you guys. How's it going, Sarge? How was your trip? Yeah, it's like a cannonball run.
Trying to find gas.
Oh, wait a minute.
Everybody.
Can you guys not hear him? And can you not hear Sarge? Oh, for God's sake!
Here we go.
Sarge, get up on the microphone. Is it me? It was just working. Say something else, Sarge?
Check. Hey, it wouldn't be a show without me having audio problems, but I'm not at my own house, so it's not.
God, you guys are gonna hear echoes. This doesn't make any sense. Oh my goodness.
I warned you.
I don't understand. We just did all the testing. We did everything. Everything. Oh, give me a second, chat. Give me a second. Or say something.
Check. Syllabus. No bueno.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me shut off the Sorry, chat.
Unbelievable. We have to edit the first.
All right, hold on a second.
You can hear me slightly.
Yeah, it's like cutting off. So I'm gonna shut off all the filters. I don't know what this is gonna do.
Oh, it's gonna be bad. How about now, Travis? Can you hear me now?
All right. Am I coming through double though now? I think I'm coming through double.
Horrible. So unprofessional.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Say something, Sarge.
Is this really gonna work, or are we gonna have to restart this all over again?
You got to make sure you're up on the microphone. We should be good now.
Like you want me like?
Yeah, I want you to be up on it.
Up on it here.
Yeah,
like right here.
Up on it here.
Like right here.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that, chat. Real quick, we're gonna go to intro again and then come back because
I'm gonna have to yell.
I'm gonna cut this part out.
You don't have to yell.
Oh, actually, no. I can do it later.
You do it in post.
All right.
I learned that it's high tech.
Take two. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over the few of the top stories of the past week, and we rant along the way. Joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, bro?
I just wanted the record to show that I wasn't at my own house when I had audio problems.
There's always audio problems. I don't know why.
Just with me, though.
Just with you, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm coming through bassy, though.
Yeah, you're fine. It's because you can monitor the stuff.
Count bassy.
So just so you guys know behind the scenes why. So Sarge is sitting just a little bit away from me, and the way we had it set up before is like we were both away, like in separate areas. So like I thought it would be really weird if me and Sarge were talking to each other, but we're staring at a wall, looking away from each other, right? But on camera, it would look like we're talking to each other. You know what I mean?
It would be like the general public, how they talk to each other.
Yeah, it was really weird. I didn't want to do that. So I had to set up and move my computer and move the screen and move the microphones and move all the stuff. We spent 2 hours.
No, we didn't. You did.
I spent 2 hours doing and changing everything around. So it would be
so OCD, bro.
And then as soon as we hit live, doesn't matter.
So you're so OCD. Just let it go. Push the play button. Let's do this.
It doesn't matter.
No, I've got to do everything like this. Okay, go ahead.
real quick.
Go ahead.
YouTube Lurker, thank you very much for the 7 months of membership. He says, get in here and support the best weekly roundup on the internet. Let's go. Thank you very much, YouTube.
But it's not that kind of roundup. We're not cowboys or anything like that.
No, it's definitely not a roundup. It's not a cowboy roundup, Sarge.
I mean, what kind of roundup is there?
They can't even.
You couldn't
even hear that. The audio is so messed up. You couldn't even hear the claps that I was giving you. Now you should be able to hear it.
Are you clapping for me? Roundup's like a poison for bugs.
I don't know. It's just
so
just weird.
You're talking about roundup as in like the news roundup?
Yeah, like a news roundup.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So on today's show, guys, we got a bunch of things we're going to talk about. I'm going to shoot it off the hip because I can't see the screen. So we're going to talk about Starfield. Obviously, we're T-minus 7 days away from Starfield.
7 days.
A couple of things came out about Starfield. We're going to show something that's not. I'm not under NDA. They posted it, so I can show it. Right? That's just what it is. If it gets taken down,
it's just a picture.
Just a picture. Yeah, it's just a picture. It's not.
It's just a picture.
Yeah, it's just right. We're going to talk about the PlayStation handheld. We're going to talk about the Atari 2600 thing that came out. I talked about the other day, but I want his input on it. Sarge, they made the. We'll talk about it in a second. We're going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3 and the Xbox parity that they want the Xbox Series S and X. I've been saying for 2.5-3 weeks now that it's stupid and they should drop it and bring it out. Well, they did it. So Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be coming out for Xbox Series X sooner. But after the PlayStation version, but before the end of the year.
Yeah, but you're talking about the story. It's not time for the story yet. You're just talking about stuff.
No, I'm telling the topics.
Yeah, but it's you're going too far. You're already talking about the story.
Well,
we're going to be talking about Baldur's Gate. We move on to the next thing.
It's not like a secret.
I didn't say it was a secret. You just say we're going to talk about Baldur's Gate.
We're going to be talking about Microsoft and Activision. How Activision signed a deal with Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, moving on.
Yeah,
all right,
that's what the summary is. Then we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Have you done this before?
Only 361 times. This would be 362.
I mean, if we're going to talk about the story the minute we start talking about it, then we're
going to talk about a kid that's holding Rockstar's ransom.
Oh, that's a good one.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. For the third time.
We're going to talk about a Star Wars remake or remaster.
Oh, another remaster. Okay.
We're going to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Pete Moore. All right, Pete Moore used to be the CEO of Xbox.
Yep.
Back in the day, he was on the Lord's podcast. What podcast was that? I'm butchering it, but when we get there, we're going to listen to him, and he talks about how Sony had all the developers in their pocket, and Microsoft had to make it a console war.
That's not really a big surprise, is it?
Right, and this is what they had to do. So we're going to talk about that as well. So all those and more or less, it all depends on what we're doing and how professional we are. But that's all on today's show. If you like listening to Generation X Gaming, we're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. We go over on Spotify as well. The video podcast, we're I think an episode or two behind. Those will be up by this weekend. And other than that, if you want to help us out, hit that like button down below, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. So appreciate y'all coming out and hanging out with us. All right, Sarge, let's go what we've been playing. All right, Sarge.
I didn't realize that you have like Disney-esque Moana Lion King drums for the cutaways. I didn't know that.
I am very professional.
I didn't know that. I'm not listening. I'm not
transitions.
listening to the stream when we're talking.
Right.
I'm watching it, but I'm not listening.
Yeah,
to it.
I'm very professional with the stuff
I had no idea.
Yeah. So, what have you been playing? Another week. What have you been playing?
Listen, you guys understand. I have very limited time. So in the wheelhouse currently, I log on. I'm looking. Okay, I'm keeping myself busy. Right. I'm looking to modify an assault rifle I'm working on in Division 2.
Okay.
So I'm doing farming for resources in locations in Division 2, plus wherever the auto rifle happens to be for the farming, like the selective farming. What's the term?
Targeted farming.
Targeted farming. Sorry.
It's all right.
So I'm doing that. Then I'm also playing the 2 Battlefield games, one Battlefield game. I'm playing Battlefield on Wednesday.
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5 on Wednesday nights. And then I'm playing
Hell Let Loose.
I'm Hell Let Loose on Sunday nights.
No Fridays anymore.
Well, if I happen not to work or get out of work early, I try to get on Friday, but normally it's just Sunday. So that's the rotation. I'm still in the battle with my computer, not in a bad thing, but I'm going through like a list of games that I want to be playing, but don't have time to play.
Right.
And so I'm bouncing around to see what I want to put on the hard drive that I'm not going to have time to play. So I'm basically playing some of the older games I used to play, RTSs, because I have a really fast machine now, and I want to see the difference, like how different it actually is, and it's a world of difference.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing Company Heroes. I didn't play 3 yet, right? Company Heroes 2, right? And the game runs so much different with the new machine. It's like a dream.
Well, yeah, it's like you have a brand new computer.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is sometimes you don't notice the rendering and how the pieces in the game moving.
This is my point. When people are playing on a 720p television, they don't know what they're missing at 1080p. If you're playing on a 1080p television, you don't know what you're missing at 2K or 4K. If you're playing at 60 frames, you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
There's a latency between clicking an order, especially when you're doing the control command and you're clicking multiple orders, and your guys hesitate. Like they do something, they kind of go like this, and then they move. Like someone's telling them what to do, and they're listening. Like, oh, you want me to go to the left? Okay. But when the computer has enough juice and it runs proper, like the guys just go. Things are firing. The graphics are good. The particle effects are amazing. You're just in it. You're not like playing, it looks cool, then all of a sudden the game turns off for a brief second, then turns back on again. It makes me crazy. So 3-4 games, bouncing around. I'm just trying to find a rhythm.
What do you need the machine gun for? What are you going for in Division?
I'm looking for a specific build to match up with my skill build, so my gun does as much damage as possible with as little modifications on my gear as possible. I'm trying to get the best DPS possible on the gun without sacrificing skill.
I gotcha.
Because I have a skill build. But I don't like it to be where my skill does a lot of damage, but my pea shooter is like, I got to shoot a guy with 17 clips in order to kill him. That's stupid. Right? So I'm figuring out the best combination, whether it to be damage to armor or damage out of cover, and then stacking it with like a talent. There's a talent on your chest piece, and there's a talent on the mask, I think it is. And so with the talents, I'm trying to match it up so I get the best damage, the best DPS possible with the auto rifle. Because I don't like submachine guns, but I still to this day, I notice a lot of guys running around with the shield and the SMG.
Yeah,
that's for like the solo build, that's the way to go. But I know what I'm playing is not the most efficient build, but I love having the ability to constantly throw the mini seeker mines. Like I throw them, I throw the hive, I throw them again. I disconnect. I deconstruct the hive, and I can throw them again. So like I'm basically throwing like mines out like every 10 seconds. Like I'm looking for DPS. I'm like, why do I want to wait 30 seconds or 35 seconds and waste waste attributes on my gear for haste when I can just put the DBS? Is it the DBS? DPS gloves?
DPS.
I don't know if it's the DPS gloves or DBI. It's an exotic glove. So if I put those on plus the Heartbreaker, the Heartbreaker set, it's a hardwired set, right? That I could just keep throwing stuff. So that's it. I mean, I'm still playing Star Control, but I fell into the trap again. I'm playing Star Control, the old game, on my new computer. And I'm about maybe like a 25% through the game, but I haven't played in 3 weeks. And no, mistake number one, I go back, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't remember where I'm supposed to go.
I made that mistake on 2 games this week.
But I'm used to like I write stuff down. Like when you stop a game like that, you're supposed to like write it down.
Right.
Because if you don't play for a couple weeks, there's so many star systems and there's so many planes, and you're thinking of the quest you have in mind to go where you got to go. I mean, there's a log you can look at, but I have to go through the log and then figure out if I did it or not. Right? It doesn't exit off like a checklist, right? When you do something in the game, it says that you have something to do, but when you finish it, it doesn't go, oh, he did that. There's an X to it. It's still on the list.
Right.
So I have to remember what my list is and where I've been. So, listen, when you don't have enough time
In Baldur's Gate,
games,
you can do that. In Baldur's Gate 3, you can literally make notes.
In the game?
In the game, yeah.
Well, I mean,
You can literally put. So I think I said this last week. I found a puzzle a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I didn't know how to open it, but I want to go back to it. So I go on the map. You click. I think you right click, and it says make a note, and you can put like a point of interest, and in that point of interest, you can write like
wow, 2023
puzzle that I'm trying to figure out.
Yep.
Go back later, right?
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, what's that mark? And then obviously it tells you what it is.
So the last map I played for Battlefield, I straight up got PTSD because it's basically Battlefield 5's version of Metro.
Oh, yeah.
It's a European town, but you're underground.
You're underground in the
subway.
bunker. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Is a madhouse.
We're playing. I'm playing it once again. I'm playing with a full team, right? There's 32 people aside. 25 of them is us.
Yeah.
Right. And so all I keep hearing
there's
is
just choke points galore. You get down the ground and just grenade spamming.
Oh my
heavy
God,
guns.
dude.
You just shoot the doorways.
I'm having flashbacks to Metro. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do this.
You know,
I don't know
people
if I can do
make fun
this.
of Metro, but Metroid was.
Well, that's how you got your gear up.
It was so good.
That's how you got your gear up. You hurry up and level
like
because
you would
killed so many
push
guys.
through so fast, and then it was that tug of war in the subway system. It was great. I loved it.
But that's how you leveled up your stuff.
Well, people also hated it because that was the demo, like the beta.
Whatever, dude.
And
you needed
people-
something fast and furious.
I
for
know,
the
but people
demo.
played it for so much because that was the only map you got to play. And then when the
Okay.
game came out, it was in the rotation all the time, so people got burnt out about it.
Yeah.
So is that it?
That's it for me.
So I played a couple different games. I'm having a series right now. If you guys want to go watch it, we're doing a franchise mode in this game called Legend Bowl. Now, Legend Bowl is a 8-bit. I think you can go up to 16-bit because you can make it fancy or whatnot. It's a football game, and don't let it fool you. Right? You know what? Let me bring it up real fast so I can show you.
You're talking about that football game you were playing?
Yeah. So
It looked like it was Temco Bowl, but north-south instead of east-west.
it sort of is, right? Let me go to it real fast on my channel. Videos. Let me just mute it. So
It almost looks like what was that NES football game, but just a better version.
I'm going to show it to you like that. So basically, it's a football game. It's like Temco Bowl going up vertical and whatnot. It's
Yeah,
like
so-
Super NES
Yeah.
football, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, this football game reminds me of what Madden was
When it started.
when it started. They have so in depth of actual the stats for the characters. Like Tom Brady's in the game, but Tom Brady is not named Tom Brady, right? They have all the stats of the people. When you're doing a run is really hard in this game. But when you break through and when you actually get the yards, it feels so good. Same with the passing. Like when you make a pass play and you start running it, like I'm on defense right now, right? It feels good. And you look at it and go, well, this is just some 8-bit little thing, right? When I tell you, Water, it is better than Madden, right?
That looks poop.
Right? It is better than Madden.
That is a standard boss answer.
Right. Yeah, that's what Boss does. Right? Like, it is. Like, fundamentally, this is fun to play. Just graphically, it's not. But the depth, the person that made this used to work on Madden. He used to work for EA. He worked in Madden, I think he said 2005 or whatever.
Right.
Wanted to start his own business and company. He worked on this by himself, I think, for like 6 years or 5 years, and then hired other people to get on board and whatnot.
Okay.
Right? And now he's got this, and it just launched on console. It's been out on PC for, I think, a year and a half or 2 years.
I'm pretty sure the guy who originally made Madden, if he wanted to start his own football game, he could destroy everybody else if he wanted to.
So they're also coming out with the second game, which is all college. Right now, they don't have the licensing for NFL.
Right.
So instead of like the New York Giants, the New York Metros,
I got
right?
you.
Instead of the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Sheriffs. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
stuff like that. Sort of like what we did for our board game. You can't use the likeness and stuff like that. But it's got instant replay. It's got full stats. It's got full franchise mode, trading. You could go up to. He said you could go like 200 years of franchise if you really wanted to. Right? You make your character. You build up your franchise. You build up your stadium. Like you make your stadium better, put better facilities so your guys get less injured or recover better, or you make more money.
Oh, so there's a lot of incidentals in the background.
Yeah. So it's done really well. They even make little jokes like at halftime and stuff. It shows like the little advertisement.
Does it show a guy
No,
holding up
there's
a sign that says Madden 96?
No, nothing like that. Right. But they did a really good job with this. So I'm playing this right now, and this is a franchise mode. So if you guys want to check it out. It's a $30 game. I think it's on sale right now for $24. I think it's something like that. It's done very well. Great game. So if you guys are looking for a football game and you're looking
the guys were in the huddle and they still had their routes as the guys were walking up to the line. That's funny.
Yeah, and like heads fly off, blood. You can hit someone so hard, blood falls on the field.
Oh, like NHL hockey.
Like NHL
96.
hockey. Helmet falls off, they're on the ground, there's blood, and they're like, injured player. Like if you look,
does an ambulance come on?
No ambulance, but you can see like there's 2 guys on my team that are injured right now. I got the fullback.
Do they hold their knee?
And the linebacker or the lineman is injured right now. So it'll say like they're injured for like 2 weeks. Okay.
But they're still playing?
They're still playing, but they have
Is there a Demerol button?
You could go to their stats and actually see what it's affecting.
Right. Is there a button to hit Demerol?
No, there's not. But it's done really, really well. So if you guys are looking for an alternative, right, because there's not many football games out there. There's another football game coming out.
What do you mean there's not that many football games? There's only one.
No, there's other football games. There's I forget what the other one's called. There's another independent game coming out. There's the NFL licensed one, which looks like NFL Blitz. I forget what it's called, but that's coming out. And then there's this, right? So lots of fun. So I've been playing that. Then on top of that, I started playing. I went back to Fallout 76. Okay.
Was there another DLC that came out?
Season 14 just started.
Season 14.
Season 14. Yeah. It's fight for your freedom or
fight for freedom.
Yeah, fight for freedom or something like that.
Yeah.
I have to say,
what is it? What kind of freedom are you fighting for? What's
there's story missions and stuff, but I didn't get to any of it because I haven't played in like a year and a half, 2 years.
You guys were just walking in a circle trying.
So I was just getting into the game and seeing what it was, and I have to say they did some really cool things. And this has nothing to do with the new season, but when you first played the first year of Fallout 76, there was no humans in the world.
That's correct. And they wanted you to feel like you were the only ones coming out of the vault.
And then once the humans came in, I think we stopped shortly after they played, right, when they put them into the game.
Uh-huh.
So now when I go to places that it was an abandoned farm, I went back to the abandoned farm, but now there's a family living there. And they decorated it. It's like they're living there now, right? And then they have stories of like the ghouls are stopping them from doing stuff. So we had to do missions for them now. Then we went to another location that was an abandoned base. And now there's a whole faction there. And they're like rebuilding it up, right? So
interesting.
Yes.
So almost the same type of premise you said when you were talking about back in the day with Grand Theft Auto, like the buildings being constructed, and after so many years now the building's done.
Well, I wish they did that for the hotel.
And you can go inside the
building. That's what I wanted them to do.
But that's what they're doing in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
So all the areas you explored when you first started playing,
you can explore again. It's different.
And now there's people. Things have happened.
Yes.
There's been
it's
progression in the game.
Yeah, there's been progression in the game.
That's kind of cool though.
So that was actually quite fun. The game is still, I mean, story-wise, there's plenty of story. There's so much stuff to do inside Fallout 76. I was a little overwhelmed because I was like, what the hell was I doing? I literally logged in and I had like 16 side quests on the right side of the screen. And I was like, what am I doing? Try not to smash that again. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know where I'm going. Me and Dupless were like, what's part of the new event? We didn't know what any of that was. So we just kind of finished the quest lines, went to different things, found some stuff. I'm interested in it, right? But I'm interested in it, and we'll talk about it more because Starfield's coming out, and I was like, let me go to Fallout 76 and kind of get a feel because I haven't played a Bethesda game in a couple years, right?
Doesn't matter.
So I played that, and then I went back to SnowRunners. SnowRunners came out with Season 10 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, all these things coming out brand new a week before the most popular game ever. You're never going to go back to those games.
Well, I'll always go back to SnowRunner. SnowRunner to me is
you want to mark the date when that happens?
Yeah, I go back every year and every season and play a part of the season.
We shall see.
Doesn't mean I'm going to play it to completion. No. I just go back and play it.
No, we'll see.
Right? So SnowRunners, I love that game, right? So the new map is part of British Columbia's and the map we went through yesterday, it is just brutal, man. There was one part that I literally climbed up a mountain because I didn't know how to get around. And I climbed up the mountain, and chat watched me. I fell off the mountain. I rolled backwards. You didn't watch it, right?
No.
Let me show you. Let me show you what happened to me, Sarge. This was pretty
I
ridiculous.
gotta be honest. Every time I watch you play that game, I just get angry.
There's I fell over, and Lurker in the chat was like, "This is where I shut the game off." He's like, "This is it." Let me.
Right? It's a game that tests your patience as just a human being. Never mind patience in a video game.
Here's where I'm trying to get.
Are you
up.
driving in first person the whole time?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes because you have to see what you're going. I couldn't see because the trees were in my way, right? So, oh wait, this is before. Hold on, let me go back to this. Yeah, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, see, I'm tipped over.
Isn't this where you have to fire the cable and then try to pull yourself back over?
Yeah. So I'm fighting my way through the bushes, through the trees, through the forest to get to this cliff side of the mountain, and then I'm like, all right, well I have to.
So there's no road at all.
Well, there is a road, but I didn't know where it was because you have to explore the map to find the roads. They're not just there showing you. I'm trying to get to a tower on top of this mountain to expose the map.
Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a road leading.
No, there
to
wasn't
it.
a road. There's a river that I found out after this that I had to go down the river and then find the road farther down the river and then go up the mountain on the backside. But I didn't know that. So I climbed up, grabbed this thing, pulled myself up, and I was like, yeah, we're going to do it, baby. I was so excited. And then I forgot to put the handbrake on. And then I started rolling backwards, right? I was like, okay, handbrake's off. And then I started revving my engine, and then I rolled backwards, and that was it. I was like, oh, and then I fell, and then it took me about 15, 20 minutes to get myself out of that position.
How do you get yourself out of being on your back?
Well, it's easy, Sarge. Let me show you.
You reload.
Let me show you. Let me go 2 times, so you can watch me the effort I'm.
So
I'm
how
doing.
are you? You fire a cable into what? You're upside down.
My engine's stalled. I can't use my engine if I'm upside down. But I
So
bought the higher end winch that can still be operational when I'm offline, like when my engine's out, right? Because it's battery backup.
Well, okay, so you have a battery backup winch, so when your car's not on, you can still winch it.
That's correct. So now I'm pulling myself up, and I have to get the right position to pull myself up to make myself go over.
This is where I turn off the game.
Right. This is where most people turn off the game, right? And everyone didn't think I was going to make it, but then I did, right? I pulled myself up. Now I got up there. Now I'm going up the mountain to try to figure out how to get up the next stent, right? But I can't get up there because there's trees blocking me. So I had to.
You can't use a chainsaw or something?
No, you can't get out of the car and use a chainsaw. So then I had to come backwards. Like, this is where I get stuck. I get stuck on these tree branches, right? And I'm like, son of a bitch, I can't get up there. So then I have to, right? I have to back up, go up on the rocks off to the side here, climb on the outer edge, almost fall off the mountain. Okay. And to me, I love it. Like, this to me is what this game's about. Right,
is not following any rules at all and just trying
exploring.
To find your way, just finding your way
just
up
exploring and doing it right. And then I cut through and I get up.
What's with your Hot Wheels car? What's with the Jeep with the 6 wheels?
This is my Explorer car. This is where when I have to do scouting.
So this is something you built?
No, I found it and found it abandoned somewhere, and then I unlocked it.
You found this truck abandoned somewhere.
Yeah, and then when you find a truck, you can use it. Then you fix it up.
Interesting.
Yeah, so exploring in the game is actually good. So now, see, I found the road.
Trail.
I found the actual trail. I'm like, oh, the trail goes this way, and right. So then I look at the map.
Now you're going the wrong way.
And see, the, right way. The map goes around. So once you hit the tower actually tells you and maps out the area for you and tells you where things are. Right. No, Reese. We never find the easy way. We always do the hard way.
This game seriously teaches patience. I mean, I'm not putting it down. Like, listen, life is full of challenges. Right, here's how I look at it. Playing a game like this is really testing you for reality, right? Because life doesn't go easy, right? Life always puts a hurdle in your face. And so do you quit, have somebody else do it for you, or do you figure out the problem in front of you and you solve it?
That's right.
This game is the training factor for that.
So right here, it tells me where the road is. So I look at the road. Right, and you could hear me like I was like ah, right, but it actually feels good, right. So the road's on the backside of the mountain,
Sometimes life
Right
isn't
there it is.
fun, Travis.
It's just,
Sometimes life is just life.
Right
You have to
around the mountain.
You have to deal. You
Okay.
have to learn to deal.
Well, look, what did I do before we started the show?
No, I know. I watched you problem solve for an hour and a half.
Right?
Yeah.
I love doing it. I love doing it.
But you get satisfaction. There's a lot of people that don't get satisfaction.
Absolutely.
But
Some
what
people
I'm-
like building
what
models.
I'm saying is that this game might not be might not give satisfaction to some people, but the actual game is testing you.
When I tell you, and people make fun of me, when I tell you that this game is the Dark Souls
Of driving.
simulators, right? There's no bosses. The boss is the map.
Yeah.
And the map at any moment
Will kill you.
can murder you or stop you or frustrate you or like dick you over, right? You could carry this giant load across the entire map, and 10 feet before you drop it off, a stick or branch blocks you and your thing tips over and your whole thing just spills out. And you're just like, ah. So now you have
That was 3 hours.
Right.
There's no saves?
Right. I this car flips later in the game, right? And I had to bring another truck over to pick it up.
Well, isn't there a save spot? Or
There's no saves.
There's no saves.
No.
It's
So
it's driving reality.
yeah, so if I drive 200 miles, okay, in the game, like if this map, okay, here's another thing this game does. So all the maps connect to each other,
And you have to figure out how to open the next map.
right? So once you open the next map, let's say you need concrete. Well, there's no concrete on this map, so you have to drive back to the other map. Well, if the concrete's at the beginning of the map and the tunnel's at the back of the map, and you're in the next map, and you have to drive all the way through that map and then drive all the way through this map, pick up the concrete, and then drive all the way back and do it again,
No.
right?
No.
And it's fun.
I'm not. It's fun for you. I do not fall into that category.
Yeah, there's no mid-mission saves. That's right.
I respect what this game is. I understand what this game is. It's
not for everybody.
I'm good at solving problems. I'm a problem
it's
solver.
definitely not for everybody.
But it's not for me.
If I was like, I'd be pissed playing this. And I get that. I get satisfaction because, just like Sarge said, like something like yesterday when you guys, everyone in the chat was like, there's no way he's getting this car up. There's no way.
Yeah, but you realize as soon as they say that, you're like, I'm doing it.
I'm fucking doing it.
I'm
That's
doing
right.
it.
I'm going to show you how
I'm
it's done.
doing it.
That's right. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing it for 3 years off and on. I absolutely love it. So playing SnowRunners. I've been playing Legend Ball. I've been playing Fallout 76. And there was one other game I played, and I can't remember it right now. But anyway, that's what we've been playing. So let's go to top stories.
How come I don't hear anything?
How come I don't hear anything now? Right?
Do they hear it?
They hear it, yeah, but we don't
didn't
hear it
hear
here. But you heard it before, right?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Well, welcome to my life. Okay, so the top story, Sarge. The first story I want to talk about is that the creator. Let's bring this up. So the creator of the AI-powered GTA 5 story mode that we showed, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where the guy created it where you can
Talk to
AI, and the AI would talk back to you in his own story mode that he did.
Right.
So the creator was an eye-catching Grand Theft Auto 5 mod and promised a living AI-powered story mode. Well, only this week, IGN reported that the Streets mod, Sentience of the Street, the players interacts with over 30 AI-powered NPCs now, but the creator, Block, announced that Take-Two had issued a copyright claim on his YouTube video showing off the mod, that he had a mod removed from Nexus Mods, and even Block's account on Netlifty, okay, which has used to host the installation guide for the mod. Now, Block manually removed the mod from GTA5mods.com to avoid legal issues. Now, in a statement, he clearly exacerbated. Thank you. They have never made the resources to fight back against Take-Two, right? He doesn't have the resources for it, right?
Yeah. So what? They just
yeah
they just copyright him and shut him down.
They
completely?
copyright claimed him, right? And he doesn't have the money to, or
Doesn't that seem a little
legal.
weird?
I said the other day when we were talking about this, right? They knocked it down, and the last time they did this, Sarge, they knocked down 5M a couple years ago for doing the role playing stuff.
Yep.
Right, and they didn't want them to do the role playing. Well, Lolly Da, 3 weeks ago, they bought 5M, right, and now they're part of Rockstar.
Amazing.
Right? So I'm assuming, because this is the way I think they did 5M, they knocked him down and said, we don't want you to do that, because they had the idea that they probably want to do it themselves, and now you're breaking into their market,
Yep.
type of thing. And then they couldn't figure it out. And they said, these guys are doing it better than we are, so why don't we just buy these guys, right? That's what I think they did for 5M. Now, this guy is making AI talk back to them inside their game, and I think they look at it and go, what the hell? Let's take this down. Let's see if we can work on this, knock his ass down. And if they can't figure it out, a couple months, a year, they'll probably call him up and say, hey, do you want a job, right? Because
it just seems weird.
It's very weird, right?
It's a. I'm not going to say it's an overreach, but the fact that they come out so hard and fast on something that is actually good and fun, that's a good mod.
He doesn't charge for it.
Right. There's no financial.
He doesn't charge for it.
There's no financial.
Now, obviously, I think you could say that he does make money off of it because if you use his mod and he has a YouTube channel and it's partnered, I don't know if it is or not, right? You could potentially give him a tip or something, and he could be monetarily making money off of it that way because people appreciate it.
But that's how anything is anyway.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's not doing anything nefarious with it. You know what I mean? He's just a person that's experimenting and figuring out if he can do it.
So when did this come out? When did this story come out?
August 17th.
All right, so like last week.
Yeah.
All right. So mark the date, and then we'll know in 5 months or 6 months if they mention anything about this kid about being hired for something. Then we know.
Yeah, I just think it's funny though that the last time they did this, now they bought the company, right? So the next story is Embracer. Okay, Studios is emphasizing external funds for new games. Embracer Group could sell off parts of the whole game studio in an effort to reduce overhead cost of games development production, the company says. Now, the following massive expansion, Embracer Group is now one of the largest video game companies on the planet with 16,000 employees. This is expected to change as the company tightens its belt and spending accounts become more lean.
Here we go.
Okay, years after record earnings from pandemic spending, most video game companies are starting to pare back on operating expenses, whether the budget or more acquisitions of the game development. We've seen mass layoffs in the tech sector and the mass major publishers shedding hundreds of workers. And that tends to set a continue of Embracer Group and the entertainment company and the houses some of the biggest names in gaming: Saber, Gearbox, THQ, Nordic, and Crystal Dynamics / Eidos. Now, ever since Embracer's big $2 billion deal fell through just a couple of months ago, the company has been looking for ways to cut back its spending and has created a company-wide plan for cost savings. The plan includes closure of game studios and cancellations of specific titles, which I find funny because
it's the same story all the time.
I find funny because Amazon was working on we just read the story today. Amazon was working on a Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, which they canceled.
But now Amazon is working with Embracer Group to make it a Lord of the Rings MMO. And I'm like, you're firing people left and right. You're closing studios left and right. Right? So it's a little weird to me that Embracer Group is doing all of this stuff. But it is, I guess, what it is, because this is the business, right? They have to keep making money. They have to line their pockets, right?
Yeah, but the discussion is it's the way they go about it. The way it's explained to them is that they say to you, okay, well, we have all these people, we're making video games, but we have to tighten the belt and we have to lay off some people because costs are too high. So let's run through this, right? If I'm lead of a studio and I have an idea to make a first-person shooter.
Right.
And I need 300 people, right? Not all at the same time, but I need 300 people, right? So phase 1 comes by, phase 2 comes by, phase 3. I go through the phases. I hire the people, the temporaries, the other guys, and we're working on the game. We do it for 3.5 years, and I finish the product, right? I sell the product. I do well. I collect the money from working, right?
Right.
I pay
normal
back,
people do.
I pay back the loan that I had to take out to make the game to start with.
Yep.
And then whatever proceeds are left over, I make sure that I put back into the company and we do it again. I take out a smaller loan now because I'm using my own money to make the next game. Right. The way that they explain it is, well, as soon as we're done making a game, I have to fire these people because we're not making another game. And then we have to tighten the belt because we're spending too much money. Like, I don't understand that mentality that every time they're done with a game that people have to be fired. Like, are you running on razor-thin margins?
I guess so.
Right? That as soon as the game is done and you sell it, that now we have to fire 300 or 400 people? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, especially because, and here comes rant number 1 for those of you living out there, the profit margin on games is now 100%.
Close to it, yeah.
100%. It's a digital game, no boxes, no instructions, no discs. You press the button, you download it. It's the same amount of money, if not more, and $10 more. So a $60 game, which was sent, mailed, developed, and molded, and molded, was $22.50 to almost $28 per unit. Right? At a $60 game, right? Now, game companies, think about it now. I know this is going to be a shocker to everybody because they're all living in dream world. So companies that were selling games at $60 who are paying out almost $25.50 to delivery, manufacturing,
gas, shelf space,
whatever. And they were making $22.50 per unit, grew to be at that profit margin, grew to be the largest gaming companies ever.
Correct.
Now that we're
EA.
making 100% profit on games, I got to let go of these people, man. I can't keep the lights on. I can't keep people working. You know, our profit margin now is 100%, and I just can't keep people. We have to fire them. That's how this works. You didn't know how that worked?
Right.
Tell me how that works, chat. Tell me how that works. I make more money. I have less overhead. And I have to fire more people.
Well, Sarge,
it sounds like Bobby Kotick's business plan.
Games are getting more expensive.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they do. They make. But I find it funny because they have to fire people, and yet they make other deals where now they have to hire somebody, but they're hiring different people than they fire instead of just keeping the people in the studio and then making the game.
But you had this conversation in the past. When you have a development studio, okay, you're not paying everyone all the time.
No.
You have a guy for a certain amount of time, whether it's a contractor or not.
Right.
This guy's working, right? And after he's done working for me, he's doing the same job for phase one on somebody else's game.
It's like bills payable. So
on somebody else's game.
Yeah.
So if that guy works his part and then leaves, what is this whole thing about? Well, we have to let people go now. So did you not make enough money? Did you not sell enough copies? And did the games that you released, were they only cut and dry games? Like I buy the game, I sold the game, that's it? Or were they live service games? Or were they MMOs or MTX versions? Or like what other game is out there? You're telling me that we have to let people go. Like, so it's a revolving door now. I hire 400, I sell a game, I sell millions. We got a 97 on Metacritic. And then I fire 300 people. Like
congratulations, you lose your job. Right.
It doesn't make sense, bro.
Yeah, that's what they do. Creature says, "We'll be buying all your assets from Epic Store. It gets costly, so I'm sure. Yeah, exactly right, and they'll save money. I can't wait to see what the day before does." Creature Water says, "At this point, it seems like they're literally just hiring contractors, not actual W-2 employees. So a job as a video game dev is short-lived unless you're cream of the crop.
So no loyalty." You don't build up a stronger team.
Nope.
You don't get any camaraderie where guys get together
long hours
and they work well together.
Yeah, long hours.
What you're doing is you're taking people who don't know each other, putting them in a room, crunching for 6 months, 8 months, and then separating them and putting them in their own, and then sending them away again. So you don't build teams.
Right.
You're not building teams. You're basically just your guns for hire.
Right. You're just constantly who's next up. You're a tissue box. It's a tissue box. You pull a tissue, and the next tissue's there.
And they want to know why the games don't come out right. I wonder maybe if video game making isn't like making any other product. I wonder.
Well, I want to go to the next story, right? The next story is Wayfinder. Devs apologize as server woes lead to a poor launch reception. Now, I have nothing against... The story is about Wayfinder because it's the latest game to do this. But I want to make sure that I'm not shitting on Wayfinder. I'm shitting on what companies do, like what Wayfinder just did, right? So Wayfinder had closed betas. They had alphas, they had betas. People played them. They enjoyed the game. Now they're opening up to a larger audience, right? It's a free-to-play game. The free-to-play model comes out in 2024. Here in 2023, you had to pay $15 or $50 or $90 or $150, okay? So now you open it up, free-to-play game, right? Free-to-play game. You open it up where people are like, hey, you want to be early access to the game? You want to play it before we release it free-to-play? You got to pay money. Now you pay the money, and day one, servers lock down. And now people are waiting in line for 16,000 people, and you're in line. I don't know how many people waited. Water says, I have 20 hours of playtime with only 2 hours in-game. Okay, so he waited in a queue for 18 of his 20 hours, right? Now, I don't know what he paid, and you don't have to tell me what you paid, Water, right? But people after people just bought the game and like, oh, I'm so excited about Wayfinder, and they have to wait in a queue, and they don't get in. And everyone's going to be like, well, it's not a big deal. It's just opening weekend, and they'll fix it over time. Stop. Hard pause, okay? If we keep doing this, right, it'll be the exact same. This is a free-to-play game, and yet they're charging up to $150 for bonuses and whatever else, okay? Right? Your creature got his money back, okay? And the point is, why? Why couldn't they just release it as a free-to-play, just as they are going to down the road, because the microtransaction shop is open.
Always.
Okay? Why don't they just release it and go, everybody can do it, right? Everybody can do it. And they're like, well, they're testing out the servers, so they don't want to overlap. Well, apparently their servers were shit, okay? There were so many ways they could have went about this, but I find it so... What Redfall did, what Wayfinder did. Redfall was launched. They charged $120 for people to get the Bite Back whatever edition, the obligation pass. Okay, the game came out. It was broke, buggy, unfinished, and they charged full price for it. That could have been an alpha. That could have been a beta. That could have been a preview, and they didn't have to charge money at all. They could have tested it out just like Grounded. Okay, Grounded came out, and you got to play the game preview program. Wayfinder could have done the exact same thing, not charging anything. Okay, and instead of tarnishing what your work is, you could have put it out there as a free-to-play and said, early access, everyone's able to go in. Please bear with us. We're trying to figure out the servers. We're trying to do this. But there's people that spent $150 to get into early access, and they're waiting in line for the entire time.
But at the same time, you've been alive now long enough, not just you.
Oh, I know.
People who are playing games like this over the last 5 years. I'm giving you the 5-year window. You've seen what's happened to video games over the last 5 years. If you, as a consumer, allow yourself to fall in love with an IP because of the fun factor and what you think may happen in this game, because your imagination is a lot better than the actual game always, okay? If you allow yourself to hand over $150 for a promise of something and then they don't deliver at all, it's on you, right? We're going back to old school here, bro. It's on you, right? There is no reason, right? And I understand it's hard because life is so miserable now for so many people that we're looking for a little slice of happiness. And a lot of us go into video games for that slice of happiness. I'm included, right? But after being dicked over so many times, your brain has to turn on and say, I'm not doing it anymore, right? If I wait 5 years for a game, I'm waiting 5 years, and it comes out broken, there is zero reason for me to buy it day one. I'll just wait another year. I've already waited 5. What's another year?
Right.
Is the endorphin hit from that game coming out worth the money you spend and the aggravation, you waiting for the game to actually be 10% of what your perception was supposed to be?
Right.
Do you know the last game I bought? Actually bought?
On console? Or...
Yeah, console. Well, yeah, console. Yeah, actually bought the last game. This is how I've turned off completely.
It would be Destiny.
Nope. Avengers.
Oh.
Avengers was the last game I purchased. Physically purchased, said I want
That's right, you got
game.
those pins. You got the pins.
I got the pins.
Got
Everyone
the pins.
knows about my pins.
Yeah, the pins.
Right? I got my pre-order bonus.
I like how Boss is dreaming over here. Hey, Boss, how much did you pay for Battlefield 2042? All right, next topic. Right?
What I'm saying is this. We all, especially for me, right? I see games for the potential of what they could be. Like in my mind right now, I'm thinking of the complexities and the fun factor of what Starfield may or may not be, right? But am I, at this point in my life, ready to hand over $100 for the promise that they say and what's in my own head at this point? Like, I'll just wait.
Right.
What's the difference? Especially now.
Real quick, I want to scroll back up because who said it? Jaggy Snake said, I paid to be a founder of Wayfinder, and I think of it like a Kickstarter. There's several tiers in Kickstarter. If you believe in the game, it's up to you and how you invest in a game, and that's... Now, I agree with that, Jaggy, But this is not a Kickstarter, right?
It's an actual game.
That's what you're putting to make yourself feel better that you invested in a company that's making the game. And I get that. Okay. This is literally them coming out where they could have it's a free-to-play game. It's a free-to-play game. This is not a game that they need the money to make the game. They have investors to make the game, hence why they made the game, right? And they're going to make money off of the game based on the microtransactions they're selling you and the other Wayfinders that they're going to be selling you as well, right? So it's different than a Kickstarter. A Kickstarter is literally an independent company putting a game out there like Albion Online.
Because they can't find money.
Right. Albion Online was on Kickstarter. I backed it because I was like, oh, cool. An MMO that I could play on the phone, on the iPad, on the computer. This is interesting. This is different. I'll invest in them because I know it's on Kickstarter. It might not even come out. But Wayfinder is literally a digital extreme, or they were a part of it, okay? And they were making this game, and they're like, oh, it's a free-to-play game. Up until the point it's not a free-to-play game, and then when it does come out as a early access beta test, it doesn't work. And people are waiting, and they're like, oh, I'll just play it 6 months from now. And that, to me, is that is scummy. That is scummy. Because if it came out as a free-to-play game and it didn't work, nobody can bitch, right? Be like, oh, I was really excited to play Wayfinder. It's a free-to-play game, but it's overloaded. It's not working. I'll come back later. But people paid for $150 and they can't play the game. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be.
I'll be the first to admit to you, like right now, what my perception of what you're going to be able to do in Starfield is so ridiculous in my head, because I'm thinking of like all the loops in my head, like what can I do here, what can I do here, what can I do here, and then I'm thinking to myself, in order to make myself feel better, that all those things will be in there, because it's Bethesda, all those things will be in there, and that's the positive side of me. But the realistic side of me is, well, I don't know if any of that's going to work, right? Maybe just the story thing will work, and all the rest of the stuff will come into play later on. Maybe the story missions will work well, but the whole of being able to disappear on your own and just follow by the wayside and explore the universe might not work correctly until later on. Right? So for me, I want the experience to be pure when I first play it. I don't want to play it, and in the middle of my playthrough, I run into walls. Like literally, like I can't go here. I can't do this. I can't do that. After being told you're going to be able to do all this. And I believe you because I'm a masochist at this point.
Right.
I believe you. Right. And so I'm hoping. Or because of the fact that I don't have to buy this game, I have zero obligation. And the day I feel like it, I feel like trying it, I just turn on my Xbox and go, let's try it today.
Right.
Not worried about it. Right. I'm not worried about it.
Right. So let's go to the next story. Texas Chainsaw Massacre won't shut down like Friday the 13th dev insists. He says, don't worry, I'll be able to hack and slash for a long time. In an interview, Gun Media creative director Ronnie Hubbs told PC Games N situations surrounding Friday the 13th was inherently more complicated than it is with Texas. Hobbs explained that things are entirely different with the time because they're dealing directly with Kim Henkel, the sole owner of the IP. We've been working closely with them during the entire process, not only from the creative standpoint, but also a legal one. We have been diligent as possible during the entire experience, ensuring things go smoothly. Following the launch of Friday the 13th, the game, Gun Media had a lot of people contacting them about turning the IP into games. But after looking through their options, the studio was introduced to Kim Henkel and realized that both sides had the immense interest in creating a game. Because of this, they knew that Chainsaw Massacre was going to be their next game. Now, in another story, okay, the director came out and said that Texas Chainsaw had 1 million concurrent, or 1 million people, not concurrent, 1 million people play the game this past weekend, right? It came out on Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they had 1 million people play. The concurrent on PC was 17,000.
Engagement.
Right, 17,000. So that means that they had 17,000. We don't know the sales. That's concurrent on computer, 17,000. And then they said that Game Pass is the sole reason because it was on Game Pass. So we don't know that number, though, right? Like how many, because they don't share that number.
They won't.
So we're just assuming that 800, 900,000 people, because it was on PlayStation. People bought it on PlayStation. People bought it on Xbox. People played it on Game Pass. So they said this game lives or dies on the player populace. Okay, and I've been saying this years for these type of games. So them putting it on Game Pass, they said it was no brainer, and because it was on Game Pass is the reason they had a million players, right? So this is one thing that Game Pass is good for, because it's taking games like this. Here's another game, Battlefield 2042, blew chunks when it came out. Okay, soon as they put it on PlayStation Plus, and soon as they put it on Game Pass, boom, numbers went up, and the game revived itself. Because people didn't have to pay. Now, the people that paid $125, $100, $80, they're shit out of luck. They had to wait 18 months for the game to be where it is today.
And according to the way that they talk to us as consumers, it's called a TFB.
Yeah. So 1 year after the game came out, or a little over a year, it went to PlayStation Plus, it went over to Xbox Game Pass, and now all of a sudden Battlefield is winning players back, and they have a huge populace now. I don't want to say like huge like Call of Duty, but big enough player base where you're getting a map and you're not looking for people to play with.
Listen, I don't call it winning back anybody.
Okay? No.
It's on Game Pass.
I'm playing it. Only reason I tried it because it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Yes.
I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm waiting
right.
for Spider-Man and Starfield to come out. What am I going to play? I'm bored. The phrase that we all say. As a matter of fact, when this show ends, I bet you at least 10% of the people right now will be going like, "What do I feel like playing today? I'm bored." Right? And they'll go look for stuff.
Right.
Something that catches your eye. I was never disappointed in the process of Game Pass. My issue has always been is that they treat it like a dumping ground for their unfinished bullshit that they have promised you. Right? So I'll promise you a 10. I give you a 5, and then I throw it,
raise it back up to a 7.
I throw it into the discount bin, and then you guys raise it up to a 7. Like
right.
When your game is done, it's done. That's all.
And I feel like we watched some footage of Chainsaw Massacre. To me, I can't play those games long term. I think that's a game that you pop in with your group, and it's fun for 5-10 hours.
Yeah, but that game, just like Friday the 13th, is the quintessential game of make a game and sell a game. It comes out late summer. It peaks during Halloween when everyone's got the Halloween minded in their and they play the multiplayer games.
Yep.
It'll be all over Twitch and YouTube streams.
Yep.
And then when Christmas comes, everyone forgets about it. Has anyone talked about Friday the 13th after?
Well, that's shutting down now, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Before it was shut down, you could still play it, but no one cared about it.
Actually, I think to answer your question, because it's shutting down and they unlocked everything for everybody, I think it actually had its highest player base that it ever had.
Sure.
Because they know that's going bye-bye.
But games like that are fun for the sheer fact that it's a nostalgic time for the horror genre, and you get to be the characters in the game. Right. I personally don't like this one as much because it's 3 versus 4.
Yeah, I don't like that. Well, there's another game coming out which is I think 3 versus 4, which is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is the same type of thing.
It's still humorous though.
Yeah. Real quick, another story. Another story is Charles Martinet is retiring as the voice of Mario and Nintendo characters. So I thought about this, Sarge. I was like, I don't know who they're getting. They're probably getting just somebody else that's going to do the voice. But I thought it was interesting. I go, what if? What if the new voice of Mario is Chris Pratt? Now, I don't know if that's it. Okay, but I just thought about it because I was like, we saw the movie, and they did a wonderful job. I was like, Chris Pratt just sounds like Chris Pratt. He doesn't sound like Mario. So in the movie of Mario, okay, not to spoil anything for anybody, but they did it, I think, tastefully. Okay, I thought they did it tastefully. So Mario in the movie is a plumber, just like he is, right? Him and Luigi are in the movie, and they have a plumbing business, and they're doing a commercial for television inside the game or inside the movie, right? And they talk like, "Hey, it's me, Mario. Yeah, come and and they're talking just like they do in the video games. Soon as the commercial's over, they go home and they're like, "Oh, look, our commercial's on." And he's sounding like Chris Pratt, like a
normal guy,
like a normal guy. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, that's how they get out of why Chris Pratt doesn't sound like it's me, Mario. You know what I mean? So now, obviously, I don't know if this is happening, but now that he's retired, I wonder if, because they're opening the new park up in Universal, right? They already did open in LA. I think they opened it up in Japan. I wonder if they're going to change the voice and make Mario more of a non-stereotypical, Italian plumber guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I wonder if they're going to change the voice. I don't think they are. I think they'll just get another guy that sounds like what this guy did for Mario.
I mean, the chat probably has it right. I mean, these companies don't want to pay anybody.
No.
If they can get around it by using...
Well, it's not like they fired him. He retired.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that if a company finds a way to do something without having to pay someone, that's the option they're going to pick, right? If they can get AI to do the voices for their characters, they don't have to pay somebody. That's the answer they're going to pick.
Yeah.
This is not like we're talking about, hey, the movie companies are looking to hire some people because they care about the community and we want to hire people, make sure they go to work. They're like, no, we can save an additional 8% on revenue if we don't hire anybody and just use AI. Which one do you think they're going to do?
Right.
So I find it hard to believe that we're supposed to actually care, right? I'm sure that they're all thankful that the guy retires. Like, what? One last guy we have to pay.
Right.
No big deal.
I mean, he's been doing it for, I think, 30 years.
Am I racist thinking when I saw the picture of the guy that he wasn't ethnic? He looks like the whitest white guy possible.
He is the whitest white guy possible.
But he's doing ethnic voices. I feel a little weird inside. Like I don't know. I misconstrue who the guy doing the voice of Mario is all these years.
Who'd you think? Did you think it was like a?
I don't know.
Did you think it was a Japanese guy?
Maybe my racist brain thought it was somebody else.
Did you think it was a Japanese guy?
No, I don't think it was a Japanese guy.
I mean, because there is different voices.
I know, but like from the video games from we were growing up, it's him.
He picked it up during, I think, Mario
64.
64, I think.
Yeah.
There's a whole I actually watched it a couple months ago. There's a whole documentary on the voices of like Peach and Mario and how they went and found the characters. I think Peach's voice is like the vice president of Nintendo at one point.
Right, because you don't want to hire anybody.
Yeah, they just hired.
This is what I'm talking about.
They just hired whoever.
It's exactly my point.
They didn't hire voice actors back then. They
That's
hired Bob from accounting to speak into a microphone.
That's my point.
Yeah.
If I don't have to hire somebody, I won't.
Yeah. So now there's voice actors and whatnot, but there's like a whole documentary on like what they went, like Peach's voice changed like 4 or 5 times and Mario changed like twice, and it was like him and that was it. Like he was locked in.
Yeah, but the princess says so little. How would you know it's a different person?
She has a couple lines. Like if you play
I get it, but what I'm saying
yeah,
is
it's not like dialogue like Skyrim
right,
or anything.
You're not putting together a personality with the voice like Mario is. Like ethnic plumber is what you hear when you hear Mario.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of anything if you're talking about Peach. I think of nothing.
Right.
Like there's no assimilate. There's no a relation to anything.
All right, the next story, and then we'll go into the bigger story. The next story that I don't know what you think about this, Sarge. They said incoming, and this was a couple days ago, and this is the Atari 2600. It's the 80% smaller version of the thing that came out back when we were kids.
Is it still made of wood? Is it still made of wood?
Yeah, look, I mean, it
looks like wood, but it's plastic.
It probably is plastic, made to look like wood. But it plays all the 2600 games and all the 7800 games. Okay? And on stream the other day, I was like, why do you need this? It's $130.
American?
Yeah, $130 American.
All right,
okay. And I was like, why do you need this? And I literally typed in Atari emulator.
Right.
And every single game that Atari ever created, I could play on my browser within seconds.
So let me ask you this question. Because that's possible, because you can emulate all those games, and Atari's been out for so long, is them making this system just a scam?
I don't know if it's a scam or if it's... I mean, I'm assuming that the majority of the population doesn't know you can play the emulators on the PC.
That's false.
I don't know.
That's false. Because everybody... I'll rephrase. Those people who grew up...
Well, you're talking...
Those people who grew up during Atari, who know all about Atari...
Well, hold on a second.
Okay? Have PCs as they were growing up.
Our parents played Atari, and they haven't touched a console system or anything.
They were not gamers.
I understand that, but they still played it.
They were not gamers. They're not gamers. You're talking about a age bracket between 1978, and you had to be old enough to play. So 5-year-olds to 15-year-olds
3-year-olds
in 1978.
Yeah.
Through the decades, you know what Atari was, and you, lo and behold, all those people in the same age bracket, you have seen the progression of video games. So now this comes back out again. Do you think that your brain, allows you to play a system like this.
No.
And have to pay an additional $130 for games you don't have anymore because you got rid of them years ago. Your parents sold them in a garage sale.
I literally played the emulator for 5 minutes. I was done.
This is my point.
I was done.
So this is why I say this to me is like it's some kind of scam, right? How do you sell me a system?
It's only on nostalgia.
I get it, but if I wanted to play Atari and I have half a brain, I just type in Atari game emulation,
right,
and I play whatever game I want. I don't understand who this is for. Like, legit, who's it for?
It's such a small... This is for a collector? This is for nostalgia?
No, the actual system is for a collector.
Well, that's what this is. I mean, look, I don't know what Atari's doing lately. They built a hotel, or they're building a hotel in Las Vegas. They built that other system that literally failed, that futuristic Atari 20 that played other computer games.
I get it.
Right? And now they do this. And it comes with a cartridge, right? It comes with a cartridge that plays like 10-to-1 games, and it also takes all
Tiny.
It takes all your control all your cartridges from the 2600 and the 7800, and you can play it.
Okay, well here's my point.
But if I have those cartridges, I still have my Atari.
I don't trust these guys to take my original cartridge and put it into your machine. Right? Knowing them, they'd fry my cartridge or something. Like I don't trust them.
Right.
I don't trust you. Right? You are trying to sell somebody something that is basically free. You're saying, "Hey, water's free."
Oh, wait a
but
minute.
I have water for $10.95.
So wait a minute. Are you saying it's the same as Wayfinder, a free-to-play game, that you're selling something that's for free?
Listen, I'm
just asking.
All I'm saying is people who understand what Atari is and what it was. There's no way in their right mind that they are handing over $130 to play on a system.
That's true, boss.
That
Stores
they
do sell
have
water.
emulations to play. Okay, let me put it this way. Atari is so non-existent, okay? So non-existent that they don't even have the resources to sue everyone who has all the emulations for their Atari games in order for them to sell an Atari system in order to let them sell it.
The problem I see here, this has been out for so long. At this point, the emulator is really just a thing to what museums do. What is it called? Preserve? No. What are they? Yeah, it's preserving, right? Like they take something and put it in the museum so people in the future can see what the past was, right?
Yes.
So video games at a certain point, because especially now with games online,
yes,
there should be some sort of museum that you can see. Yeah, there is. So I'm saying no one's buying this, right? Like you said.
Well,
so they should be able to take
I'm curious to know who would.
Yeah. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, someone's going to emulate, if it's not already out there, which I'm sure it is, all the Nintendo games, all the Sega Genesis games, all
you want to know why? Because eventually there is no hardware.
Correct.
So the only way to play it
would be
is to
through
have an emulation.
Yes, right, correct. Right. So how long before, you know what I mean, they can not charge or sue you for it? You know what I mean? I guess is the question I ask.
Okay, but let's say I'm a hook, line, and sinker. I love Atari stuff. I grew up on it. I love it. Right? What is your maximum attention span on an Atari game?
15 minutes.
Tops.
Tops.
2 minutes average.
Average, yeah. Some games I play, I was like, I'm
2
good.
minutes.
I played one match of
because
how long
your
did I play
brain
Maze
doesn't
Craze?
your brain doesn't allow it anymore.
Maze Craze, I would sit there for hours and play Maze Craze. I played Maze Craze over here. I was like, I'm good. One time going through the maze, I was like, I'm good.
Right. I remember it. It doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
It just seems it's strange to me to see this long stretch of trying to push out this Atari. It's been going on for 5 years now, this Atari game system.
No, this is a separate Atari system.
No, this is the same one they talked about.
No.
What do you mean, no?
This is a separate Atari system.
Oh, this is a scam.
There's been 3 Atari systems.
This is a scam.
There's been the one that they did like the miniature.
There's no copyright protection on this thing. That's why it's a scam.
They've done the ones where you just sell the controller and it plays the games.
Yeah.
They've done the one where they reinvented it, where it was like
scam
$700 or whatever the hell it was.
Now I know it's 100%.
Right? And then this one is the old box where it takes the old cartridges 100%, and puts it in.
And now I know it's a scam.
Yeah.
Because nobody owns it. Everybody's just trying to sell it.
Yeah.
It basically, these are all the... I don't want to say this incorrectly on stream. Hang on. This is like the Caucasian version of Soulja Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. just
right?
selling. Yeah, just selling.
That's
the,
what
the
this
system.
is.
Yeah,
I'm selling you a system. It's got great games, 100
Yeah.
games, awesome games. You gotta play it really cheap.
Yep.
I love it. What are
Yeah.
we talking about?
yeah. That's exactly what it is. They're just trying to sell the nostalgia of the system, and you can buy it and play them all for free right now on emulator.
Or I can just call you up on the phone and say, "Hey, you want to play Atari games? Here's the website.
yeah, exactly.
You could play all 1,700 every game in existence."
Yeah, everything.
I don't get it, man.
All right, the next story I want to talk about is Starfield. I'm going to take a couple stories of Starfield here because it's coming out in T-minus 7 days for Starfield. They showed the first 20 minutes behind closed doors at Gamescom. Paul Tassi talks about, and we talked about this.
The title of this article,
We've been saying it for...
hang on. The title of this article
Yeah,
is 2 years too late.
that's right. We've been talking about this
I've been talking about this title
for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so he says, how will Microsoft measure Starfield's success in the Xbox Game Pass era, right? Because...
Exactly. How would they, 30?
Right, so...
How are they going to measure it?
He says, it raises an interesting question. How will the success of the game be measured using non-traditional metrics? And usually see big $800 million opening weekend type headlines or huge releases. Games in the Fallout or Elder Scrolls series have sold tens of millions of lifetime copies, but because of Game Pass, it will not hit those high watermarks, okay? Though Microsoft probably won't mind. He says, this is the way I see it. There are a few different paths that it will add up in significant revenue. He says we won't get one of those big opening day / weekend / weeks. He says numbers the way we're used to. And he says, of course, this is missing PlayStation entirely, a first for the mainline Bethesda RPG release, but measurements, okay? He says, increase the Game Pass subscriptions. This is what Microsoft wants to see more than absolutely anything else. While no Starfield will not sell nearly as many as $70 standalone copies as it would normally.
We don't know that. We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
You're right. We don't. Right? Microsoft can get a new Game Pass signups and get them to stick that $17 a month indefinitely.
Yes.
They make up $70 price point in 4 months. And if they really stay long term, it's $200 a year. Through its remains, it also seen to what the ceiling is on Game Pass, where if you're on Xbox, you don't have it by now, are you going to have it and convert? Microsoft is hoping Starfield will move that needle. He says premium edition upgrades. We're living in a pay more, get early access era, where if you are a die-hard fan and want to play Starfield next week, right, a week early, starting on September 1st, you'll have to pay out an additional $30 on top of the $70, right? So you're at $99 or $100 right now.
Yep.
A couple of pieces of in-game gear.
And how many times did we talk about the $100 video game?
It's been around for years, and people...
How many times have we talked about the $100 video game?
Right. People are like, well, I'm not paying $100, but
Yes,
then
you
they
are.
have a collector's edition, and then
Yes,
you pay...
you are.
Or you pay the DLC they took out, and then put it in for the first month.
That's correct.
And then you pay $30. Yeah.
$100 game.
So he also says Steam. Bethesda games have always been massive on Steam, and Starfield is unlikely to be an exception. The modding community kept games like Skyrim alive for years, and if it would be reasonable to expect that Starfield sales on the platform for those who can run it on their PCs and want to own it outside the Game Pass ecosystem, so many more full sales here. He says, despite all this, it's hard for me to think that if you just a traditional Bethesda release at $70 on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, it probably would end up making far more money and that way. But then again, you brought up the $7.5 billion. They're probably enough to let your new overlords release your game however they want, right? They paid $7.5 billion. Okay, so here's another thing that's happening though, right? So while it's launching, you're making. So this is the way I look at it. If it sells $70, right, you're already getting $10 more than you would have in the past because, right, so it's not on PlayStation. It's only on Xbox.
Okay.
It now goes up to $70.
Yep.
What that does in my brain is now say, oh, well, people don't want to pay $70,
Go ahead.
right? So then they'll decide, well, I can just play it on Game Pass. But then what happens is there's like, well, if you want to play it early, 1 week early, we hype it up. We got people to do it. And then they like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to get it on Game Pass. I'm going to pay for it. But now they're not paying $70. Now they're paying $100. Now, one person pays $100. That still counts as one copy. Okay? But if two people buy the game, it's almost 3 copies. You see what I'm saying?
You're mixing two different things of the market up. The way you look at it, you're looking at sales numbers based on units.
Right.
That's the old way.
That's the old way.
But you can't look at it that way.
That's what I'm
anymore.
saying.
What you're looking at is how I would look at it, right? Because of the way things have changed. is I'm looking at it as units equal people and how much I made off that person.
Right, but now you're doubling it off 2 people.
Well,
you're selling 3 games off 2 people.
Calm down.
More than 3 games.
Calm down. Like we talked about earlier, on a $60 product,
Right.
the game company only made $22.50 profit.
Correct.
Okay. Present day, the game company is making 100% profit. Okay. But they added an additional $10. Right.
Yep.
So a $70 game sold digitally is $70 profit.
Correct.
There's not mailing it to anyone.
Correct.
Now, of course, they take parts of that money out to pay people to do what they want to do, but you're taking $70 profit and I'm paying out off the $70. I'm not paying out off of the $22.50.
Correct. But back in the old days, you paid $60 on opening night.
Yep.
And if 2 people paid 2 games, like me and you went to the store and we bought Starfield each,
Yep.
that's $120.
Yep.
Now 2 people buy a week early,
Yep.
2 copies of the game.
But really, it's 3 sales.
That's $200,
That's correct.
right?
That's 3 sales.
That's 3 sales
technically.
plus 10.
Well, right, because of the added $10. Yes.
Right. Plus the extra $10.
Yes.
Okay. So now, obviously, the number wise is going to be higher for money, but the actual copies sold is not going to be that many. So technically, if they sell 3 million copies of the game, it makes the exact same amount of money as 6 million, actually almost a little bit more than that, 6.5 million of copies.
Actual copies.
Of actual copies.
But this is the discussion we've been having now for 2 years. We bring this up about every couple weeks we talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay. The deciding factor is not going to be known right away. This is the issue I have, right? I want to know the actual economic stats of the sales. You're not going to know that.
No, you'll never
Right?
know that.
But this is my point.
Yeah.
So what are you basing success off of? They can pick whatever attribute they want
Correct.
as a measure of success, right? 20 million people played Starfield.
Right.
Okay, so did they play it or did they turn it on for 10 seconds?
8 billion solar systems. They whatever.
Right. 40 billion hours logged.
Right.
Right. You can pick whatever metric you
2
want.
billion planets explored.
Right. You can say whatever you want
Yeah.
to make it sound like it's the most
Lots of
amazing
people-
thing. Lots
right.
of people playing
Yeah.
it. But my point is, who actually is? This is why my brain hurts so badly on this release. This is going to set so many precedents on how gaming will go. You don't know if the people are going to wake up and say, okay, Starfield's coming out. I want to get it day one. I'm going to give you $100. How many people are going to do that when you can actually just take 10 seconds and say, I don't have to buy anything?
Right, I don't have to buy it, but I'm going to
can
spend $100.
I don't have to buy anything, and I can play this game a week later
Yeah.
for nothing. By the way, I already have Game Pass.
Right.
So why would I give you $100? So what I'm looking at is
it's that excitement of just getting in there.
I get it. What I'm saying is, I'll make a prediction. I'm gonna say 3 million copies sold.
I say between 3.5 to 5.
3 million copies sold.
Yeah.
But 18 million people play it.
Well, I think more than that. So this is what I think, right? So I looked up the sales of Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Skyrim.
Most played game ever.
Fallout 3 sold. I might be getting it confused. In the first week, it sold 5 million units. Right? I think it was. No, it's 3.5 million units in the first
party game. DMAC. First party game.
Right. Let me look it up real fast just to make sure, because
I understand what you're saying, DMAC, but it's a first party game, so that's why we're talking about it like that. I get it for the other third parties.
Here. Fallout 3 sales. Let's see.
We already know.
Week.
You said it was 3.5 million copies.
Yeah, I forget.
That's their window.
Let's see. Fallout 3 game sales have earned 300 million worldwide. 4.7 million the first week, right? 4.7. Again, that's a $60 game, right? Now you're paying $100.
It's $1.2 billion.
I think there's going to sell between 3.5 and 5 million copies, which technically would go into double that. So if it was in sales,
5 million times 70.
Right. Well, no, 5 million times 100, because you have to play a week early. If you wanted a week early,
No,
you're
I'm
paying.
not counting all those people because I'm counting the normal average sales.
Well, that you have to, because the first week sales now
is now the $100 one.
Is the $100 one. It's a week early from actual launch.
So maybe 1.5 million people.
I see. I think
more than that.
I think it's going to be 3 million at the
$100. You think 3 million people are going to pay $100 to play this game?
I think 3 million are going to get it at $100.
It's incredible.
Okay, and then this is where it goes haywire.
Right, we can't keep track.
Once it goes live on Game Pass, September 1st or August 31st, whatever, at 9 p.m., okay, people on PC, people on the Samsung TVs.
The server's going to crash. You know that, right?
Well, it's a single-player game.
Doesn't matter. Everyone's going to have to download it.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, they can pre-download it already.
They can?
Yeah, you can already pre-download, okay? So the number after this first week, we're not going to know.
Right.
They're going to say that number of 400 billion planets explored, how many aliens or whatever it is. Right? Krebsy says 1.8 to 2.4 at most.
Well, Krebsy, I agree with you. Only because you have to know that I can play the. Listen, I have an Xbox. I have Game Pass. Why would I give you $100 to play the game a week early if I want to play it that badly?
Here you go.
That badly?
Oh, hold on. Where's my? Where the hell is it? Here it is.
This makes me laugh.
You could technically play Starfield on Xbox One. Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Now,
challenge accepted.
It's through the cloud. You have to have Ultimate. You have to have Ultimate. You have to pay $17.
Challenge accepted, bro.
Okay.
I got Xbox One still.
I
still have it.
It's right here, right?
I still have it.
Ultimate, $17. You can get on Xbox One. Now, there is 85 million Xbox Ones out in the world. Okay.
Yeah.
There's 22 million Xbox Series S's and X's in the world.
That's a big gap.
Right?
That's a big gap.
There's 15 million people paying for Ultimate on PC. Right? For just PC.
Yep.
So you have 15 plus 22 plus the additional 80
people you're missing.
Potential.
The
right?
people you're missing between S's and Xbox
Then there's the
Ones.
people that have the Samsung TV that don't even have a console. They're just playing on the cloud.
They're gonna say this is the most played game ever.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, and this is not me scrutinizing them in any way, shape, or form. This is me going, this is going to be unfathomable on the number that they potentially could hit, right? Todd Howard even said, we put all our games on all platforms. He goes, we potentially have more people potentially that can play their game than we've ever played before.
That's correct.
On the planet, he said. Okay, so... Right. Yeah, people are not going to buy the game.
But they're going to play it.
But 30 million people could potentially download the game and try it.
So basically what we're looking at is we're going to have a smaller number of people pay the $100, which would still equal the first day game sales of what a normal release would be in times of normal games. Basically.
Right.
So that first week and a half, the $100 sales make up for what the 8 million copies would have been sold. Only 1.5 million to 2 million sells, but the amount of money they would make from that amount is still the same.
Correct. Even if Krebsy's correct with the 1.8, 2.4 at most, that's still more copies than they sold of any other game at launch.
It's still more potential people that could play this game.
Correct.
It's crazy.
And for only $17 or $10.
Right. This is why this release is going to be so important because it will set the metrics for how things are looked about from here on in.
Right, because not only does this get people into the ecosystem, so let's look at this. Now, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if this is if this is true or not, okay? And you can laugh at this. I'm reading it, just the news, okay? I don't think this is happening a lot.
Yeah, I don't believe this. I don't
believe this is happening a lot. All right, but Starfield hype, players are reportedly returning their PlayStation 5s at GameStop to get an Xbox ahead of September. It's claimed. It's claimed.
That's just bullshit.
Now, there's also this one that came out today. Okay. Xbox sales jumped 660%. No, 660% a few hours ago in the US, and now Xbox sales are up ridiculous 870%. Okay. And it says here it was ranked 388th. And now it's ranked 40th, right? So as we get closer, we live in Florida, right? When a hurricane starts to come at you, no one really pays attention to it until it's like 2 days out. And then everyone else starts to run to the store, buy the water, buy the stuff, because the storms are coming. I'm going to use that as the analogy of what Starfield's causing right now.
After the words you just said live on stream, how come Boss isn't saying anything? Isn't Boss?
He probably heard it right now. He's running over to his keyboard. He's gonna.
Yeah, Boss would be right in on top of this.
He's just
Boss?
gonna put LOL.
Boss would have to say something about this. He hates Xbox.
Right?
Where is he? Boss, where are you, man?
Okay, so right now I think this is the calm
before the storm.
Before the storm.
I don't think it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I can get an Xbox S for $300. Nobody's returning their PlayStation 5 to get an Xbox.
Hear me out here. Right now, Baldur's Gate 3, which is a isometric RPG game, Dungeons and Dragons, that most people don't play. Right? Even Lorien Studios said we only expected 100,000 people on our servers, and they hit 800 and almost 800 and a half.
A million people.
A million people, right?
Yeah.
Well over what they were expecting, right? Well over what they were expecting. Okay. So what I'm saying is that's for an RPG game. Hardcore RPG fans love Dungeons and Dragons. And that's people were going, Baldur's Gate 3 is so good. Like hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people went, because that's concurrent. Doesn't mean the people that bought it.
That's correct.
There's way more people that bought it than that were playing concurrent. Anyway, that's just for Baldur's Gate. So what is Starfield going to do, right? Because Baldur's Gate wasn't having ads on Times Square. Right, Starfield is showing in movie theaters and commercials and sporting events.
The blitz is happening
they're blitzing, right? They're blitzing
now.
Okay. Also, Game Pass is blitzing. Right, it's a triple ad. It's an ad for Xbox. It's an ad for Game Pass. It's an ad for Starfield.
Right, and they're not saying go out and buy the game.
No,
they're saying Starfield.
They're just letting you know
Starfield's coming out. And by the way, it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. It's on Xbox. It's on Game Pass. And here's a space game.
Yeah,
just saying it's here. Right. So I don't know if these numbers are true, but it's interesting, right?
I'm excited for the fact to see how it comes
real quick,
across.
Big Bobby says, but storms don't last long. That's correct, Bobby.
That's true.
But once they have your money,
they have it.
they have your money. Once they have your $17 for Game Pass, they have your money for that month. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. What you were saying?
No. All I'm saying is that after the first week is out, this is probably going to be the most talked about game up until Grand Theft Auto comes out. Like this,
Grand Theft Auto is going to be
right. Like
this is
another this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto is all platforms, everybody, and craziness.
Grand Theft Auto, I was going to say, I don't care how many people were playing your game on Game Pass.
Right.
We're going to have that, and they're all going to pay for it.
Right.
Game Pass is Rockstar's going to be hold my beer. You want to see how many people play?
Well,
14 billion people murdered hoes.
but this is what I'm saying. Like, this is going to be unprecedented. But when that game comes out, it's going to make this look like nothing.
Yeah.
That's the levels that we're at now.
It's going to be next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Creature. I'm saying for Xbox, what they're doing with Starfield is going to set a precedence because we don't know the sales numbers. The only people that are going to know the sales numbers, actual sales numbers, is Microsoft. And how many people are engaging on Game Pass, right? That is the massive number they want. How many people right now bought into Game Pass for the next month or 2 months?
Right.
And then how many people in that month that retain over the next month to play another game? How many people that bought Game Pass that month bought a microtransaction, bought another game, bought a game that they tried on Game Pass, and then they bought it afterwards to keep it, right?
That's correct.
This is the number that they want, right? They don't, honestly, I don't think
they don't care.
They don't care about the actual sales.
They don't.
They want those people long term.
Yes.
If for me, if they get 5 million people to stay on Game Pass
for 3 months, 4 months,
that's
like making a sale.
That's a win for them, right?
Correct.
They could leave afterwards, but they got to have a majority, or not a majority. They have to have a certain number.
There's a percentage of retention,
right? If it's 6%, 8%, 12%, whatever it is, that's what they want to, and that's a win,
right? Here's how you'll figure it out, right? You'll have to wait till this quarter's over, right? You'll have to wait till this quarter is officially over,
and then you're gonna see a fucking nosedive.
Because when the quarter ends, Microsoft has to release the sales, and you'll see the sales of Xbox S's and X's, right? And so if the sales of those machines are up really high for this quarter, right, you won't know until the end of December.
Right. You won't know
for
until
the fall.
Right.
For the fall, you won't know until like November. I think November is when it comes.
Well, I think
out.
the last one is you won't know until January because October is the next one, and then it goes November, December, January.
Well, the fall quarter, whatever they consider the fall, the third quarter to be.
You won't. Yeah.
Right. So when you see those metrics, you'll see how many hardware sales of S's and X's there are.
Yeah.
You'll get a ballpark for what's about to happen here.
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting to because I'm not. Look, the game's gonna sell. Right? Fallout 3 says it sells. Fallout 4 says it sells. Skyrim says it sells.
But I won't say the game's going to sell. I will say that the game is going to be well engaged.
No, but
that's
what
how
I'm
I
saying,
say
even
it.
I'm saying the sales they make. Skyrim sold, but that's across all 3 platforms.
That's correct.
Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 were across all the platforms. I think it's still going to sell well for one console and PC.
Well, because it's an exclusive.
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to fail on that. Like, for instance, everyone's like, Final Fantasy 16 sold 3.3. It's awesome. If Starfield comes out and says it's 3.3, is that a loss? Or is that a win?
Well,
that's only for one console.
But let's not compare apples and oranges. Okay? The Final Fantasy argument is the number of people that buy Final Fantasy is pretty close throughout all the Final Fantasies. It's somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 million people. Those are the hardcore people that buy Final Fantasy. Skyrim sold like 10 million copies.
Yeah, 12,
okay?
12.5.
All right,
yeah.
so 12 million copies.
Yeah.
And that was across all platforms.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're doing Starfield on
one
platform.
One major platform.
All right, well, we count PC. We'll say
yeah.
2 platforms.
Yeah.
However, it's not a 100% purchasable game.
The engagement, the most game that ever got the most was 450,000 concurrent was Fallout 4. All the rest of them were like in the 100,000s.
That's correct.
So
I think
is this going to be more
concurrent
on Steam? Do you think there's going to be more concurrent than Fallout 4?
Well, when you say Steam, does not count consoles or it only counts PC?
No, just PC. Do you think this will be the highest, most consecutive player? Jesus Christ. Concurrent players. Do we think this will be the most concurrent players of any Bethesda game on Steam? I say yes. I think it beats Fallout 4.
Yes, because the people who can't play on PlayStation will have to get it for PC.
Yeah.
But I say that loosely though, because I never try to say that because you're a PlayStation person that's all you have. Normally, people who are gamers, the traditional definition of a gamer is gaming is in your lifestyle. It's your hobby. It's always there.
Right.
Like if I'm like I'm a welder. Like I work a full-time job, but I like working with furniture.
Right.
Like that's in my life. Like gaming is in their life. If you're a gamer and it's in your life, you probably have more than one hardware in your house. Whether it be 2 consoles, a PC and a console, a handheld, like you have multiple things, right? So because of the fact that it's on PC and Xbox only, I think they'll probably have the highest concurrent Bethesda game probably ever.
I think they will as well. I think it'll beat it'll beat the concurrent for Fallout 4. I think it'll break the sales. I do. Even for sales, I think it'll beat Fallout 3. I think it'll beat Fallout 4.
What was Fallout 4 sales?
Fallout 4 sales.
I know we talk about this often, but I don't remember now.
Well, I know their total sales. I don't know what their first week sales are. 5.19 million first week.
But that's all platforms.
That's all platforms. I think they hit that 3.5 5 between PC and Xbox. I do.
Okay.
I do. I think
we don't have a choice.
I think this is one of those games that we look back on, regardless if it's good or bad. I'm not even saying that. Just sales. I think it comes out early adopters for the first week is going to be like this astronomical number. You're going to look at it and go, 5 million people bought this game early for $100? I think that's possible. I do. And going forward now, if this happens, let's just say it comes out and that does happen. Best case scenario, 5 million people buy it first week, and then Game Pass, 30 million people play it. This is Spider-Man of Marvel, right? They had all these other movies that didn't do very good, but Spider-Man came out and it broke almost $2 billion. That makes up for all the other shitty movies that came out before, right?
Okay.
Starfield has the potential of saving all the other shitty games that came out before
Yes.
for Microsoft. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's possible. And that's not me saying if it's good or bad. I'm just saying if Starfield works out, this will set the tone for what Microsoft plans in the future.
Once again, in my head, this is if everything goes well. This is if there's no problems. This is if the game runs as intended.
Right.
Right? If this game releases and it runs into the same problem that Cyberpunk had.
Right. Well, that's a whole other conversation.
Right. That's a
whole other conversation.
So we're gonna see. But this is why I don't, and this is me personally, this is why I don't care about this game. Like I want to play it so badly.
Skyrim sold 7 million units in the first week.
Okay. So, but across all platforms. I mean,
I updated to 3060. Stop kicking my camera, would you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
3060 is what I updated a couple of months ago.
It's gonna be an interesting week. It's gonna be an interesting week because right now, the early guys are playing it.
Well,
right now, right now,
I said, how fast will Star Wars be in the game?
Well, no. How fast will modders...
A mod.
How fast will the
modders put Star Wars in the game?
Star Wars in Violet?
Now, I don't know if this is a mod or not, but I'm going to put this in chat, right? It says... Now, I don't know if this is in the game, right? It says, someone has recreated the Millennium Falcon with the modules that has been shown so far, okay?
Is this the picture?
This is the picture. Let me show you.
That's pretty good.
Oh, hold on. You guys can't see it on the... Let me... Okay.
That's pretty good.
Now, let me tell you. I love how they photoshopped Han Solo and Chewbacca at the bottom there.
That's pretty good.
Now, I don't know if they photoshopped it or not. Basically, based on the thing.
Still, it gives me a nice little warm feeling.
The conversation is, Sarge, if you can do this in the game, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool, right? That's pretty damn close to the Millennium Falcon.
Okay, if you were trying to make the Millennium Falcon but not get copyrighted,
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Like that's pretty good.
Right?
Tiny Toon says, "Oh boy, I'm gonna buy 2 copies of Starfield now."
Right. See,
which means 3. Which means the price of 3. He's gonna buy $200 ones. Yeah. All right. But
I mean,
and here's another thing that Pete Hines,
the little boy in me screams about this game. But the reality for me is
what the industry's done for us in the last.
My perception of what this game can do is completely different than what it will do. I'll wait. I'm not. What does it bother? It doesn't bother me at all anymore. It just doesn't. I'll wait.
I want to bring this up. Okay, this is Pete Hines, and I want you to listen to Pete Hines real fast. There's a couple of segments that he talks about. He talks about. I think it's like right around here. Let me see.
New fauna, flora, etc. It's a really cool way to involve them in new stories that they perhaps weren't searching for, but now they're being like collided into, and it's just juicy. You want to dive.
And then because we made an irresponsibly large game, we take it to another level that I think, and this is one of the things I'm looking for. We've seen it ourselves. Like I was just talking to a couple of folks from our Benelux office who were like, they've both played, about the same amount of time, like 40 hours or 60 hours, but their experiences were like, we didn't do any of the same things at all, like not even close, and just with that, and then the whole like locations aren't.
Real quick, he goes on into it. Remember when we played Skyrim or Fallout 3 and Fallout 4? This is what I like about Bethesda games. I know they're buggy, right? But what Bethesda does, and he goes on, and I'm going to let it play, but he goes on and says that we just want you to play how you want to play, which we always say, let me play the game how I want to play. You made the game. Now let me play it how. Don't tell me how to play the game. Like the developers are like, you can't do that. You got to do this. You got to do this, right? That's what looters do and stuff. You can't do that. These open world games like this, he says that if you just want, they show the picture of all the sandwiches on the thing. He's like, if you just want to go around and collect all the sandwiches in the game, go do it, right? Just like in Skyrim, I grabbed every book and grabbed other bookshelves and put them in my house and loaded all the books inside the shelf.
I did the same thing.
Just because I wanted to do it.
I read all the books
Yeah.
in Skyrim.
Right? The fact that you can do stuff like that is really cool. Now, someone might look at it and go, that sounds fucking miserable. But it's like...
Not to the nerds.
Exactly. So let's continue playing.
The same for every person. Like what you and I find going to explore this planet, I can't just tell you, you should go here and land here and find this. Like,
perfect.
Yeah, that might not be there for you. Like you get to find and have an experience that truly feels like your own in a way that I think folks are going to really enjoy and appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bite of that in the Starfield Direct, like you mentioned. I mean, Jamie Mallory literally coming out and saying, oh, well, hold my sandwich, I'm grabbing them all here. And it's just, it does speak to that unique way that every player can tackle whatever situation they do come across, or even just back down to character creation. And that's that jumping off point of deciding, here's what I'm going to start off as. I have no idea where that journey is going to take me and how it might change me as a player, me as a character in this game. And it's all really fascinating. But what are the sorts of way that you tend to play it? I mean, I know you've poured in some time now, but
well, look, when we're in this phase and like leading up, I don't play like I would. Like I don't play like I'm about to when I get back home. Where like, okay, now I'm gonna start like this is Pete's
you got a job to do right now.
Up to this point, it's been Bethesda's character, and sort of the way I've approached it is sort of testing. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been interacting with our players playing Bethesda Game Studio stuff for a long time, so we know how they think. And I talked to Jamie after E3, and she's like, I don't get this. Like, why is this such a thing? And I said, Jamie, what you did is you tapped into the silliness factor that like you
I didn't notice that.
to forget.
I didn't notice that, dude.
About Starfield, and but it's still fun. Like it's supposed to be about fun, and you put your finger sort of right on the pulse of the kind of nonsense that our players love to get up to, because we make a game that is about freedom, right? Like we embrace chaos. We give players more freedom than I think in a game like this than people really dare to in their games. Like that's part of what makes Starfield special. And look, that creates situations that we have to do a lot of work to make sure like this doesn't break, this doesn't create problems. But the payoff for that and like what players are allowed to do, like, wait, I can do this? Like I can spend all my time doing something as ridiculous as this? Yes, like if that's what you want the game to be about, that's what you should do. But we want you to go and push and try all of the different ways, because it's really not about like our story or how we want you to play. It's about how you want to play.
Right.
So when I play, I spend time like, I'm going to spend a week and not land on a planet. Like, what's it like to just be in outer space, spend all my time in outer space?
When he said that, I was like,
star stations, derelict ships, doing all
This
this
is
stuff.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, now I'm going to go land in this city, and I want to see how long I can spend not leaving this city. Like, how many factions can I find? How many quests can I do? And I'll get to decision points where it's like, look, you're about to, like, you have to pick a side here, and I'll make a save, and like, I'm going to play this way, and I'm going to go 2 hours down the road just to see,
What's
like, how does that feel? And then rewind and play it 2 hours the other direction.
Choose
just
your own
because
adventure.
I want to know, like, what should our players expect?
Put your
How does
finger
this-
in the
and
bookmark,
Just trying to
choose your
do
own
that in
adventure.
as many ways as possible. Just land on a random planet and just start walking. Like, what's this like? How fun is this? And the more of it you do, the more you find like there's 1,000 hours in this version of the game alone. Like if you don't even touch it, it's crazy. And like
When he's saying 1,000 hours, he says just in that game. He's saying without touching the ship customization or without touching
I know what he's
the
saying.
base.
Listen, the first thing he said when you first hit play was we made a ridiculous. Go back to the beginning. He says,
I don't know where it was.
It's unresponsibly big game.
Right, unresponsibly. Let me finish real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
my one piece of advice to folks is do not ignore your activities. Like that's almost it feels like throwaway stuff that the game is giving you. Like there is some amazing stuff in there that doesn't even feel like a real quest, but like will take you to some amazing places and amazing stories. We encourage you to play this like any BGS game, which is like do what you want, go where you want, test the game, you know, be the kind of player.
I didn't like how he said test the game, but we'll get back to that.
You want to be in this world and see what happens.
I get chills
Right,
thinking
you are the
about
tester.
what I'm going to get up.
It's gonna be a
Right,
lot.
because they make the game so big and so open world and so like go about your thing. There's no way they can test it all.
That's correct. We are the testers.
So when he said go test the game, I was like, ugh.
But that's what it is.
But that's what it is.
That's what it
But the
is.
fact that he also said that go play how you want. Like when he said you could just go out in space and see how long you can stay out in space, I was like, holy shit! Like you could literally
Yeah, but also what the translation to that to other people is that sounds boring.
boring as
fuck.
hell. Yeah. To me, that sounds
but
amazing.
But
I also play SnowRunner and try to go up mountains with a grappling hook, right?
But this is what I'm saying. We're going to see whether or not the broad spectrum of people will play this game for a long period of time, or is it just going to be people who play the game for the story and then move on? Either way, it doesn't matter to them.
I played Fallout 3 and solved it by accident. The story.
But that was the big joke for years, though.
Yeah.
If you followed the storyline, it ended real quick.
I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, not doing the main quests, just playing, going around, doing whatever. I'm playing Starfield. This will be the first game I've ever played where I don't give a shit about the story, and I'm all about story. I want to play it. I'm building myself a character, and I'm going to do an episodic television show on my stream. I'm going to record myself. I am playing my character,
Jack Burton.
I'm playing Jack Burton. And Jack Burton...
Are you going to roll the character like Jack Burton?
I'm not going to talk like him, but I'm going to act like him.
No, I'm talking like roll the stats of a Jack Burton.
Yes, where he's just cocky and thinks he's the shit.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking of my character. I want to try to roll as a Han Solo type of character. Captain Kirk meets Buck Rogers. Okay?
So a snarky, egotistical...
doofus,
narcissistic badass.
Right. That's how I want to play, right? And I'm going to go on an adventure, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm going to edit it down, and then I'm going to post it, and then put it up on the video, right? I'm going to stream it just to play, but I'm actually making content where I'm on my own adventure, because to me, this sounds like, if done correctly, this is gold, right? This is content gold. This is gamer gold, because you could just play this game and forever, right?
Like as long as Skyrim.
Yeah.
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 And Skyrim's been out for a long time.
Now, it could fall flat on its face and be like, oh, this is boring. But if
100% could be No Man's Sky.
Right. Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. Right.
The difference between awesome game and No Man's Sky would be like
it's like
just
this
little amount, something bad could happen.
Right.
Right. It's hard to promise a lot of stuff in an open world game like this, though. Right. To say there's a lot of stuff to do is one thing, but I would say the average person who enjoys video games needs structure. They need to be told what to do. The smaller percentage of people will understand what this game actually is and enjoy it for what it is. But the masses of people who are playing this game or a game like this from Bethesda for the first time need structure. They need to be told what to do, where to go.
I think a lot of people are going to
fall off.
Yeah, they're going to fall off. I think a lot of people are going to fall off. But I think that's okay, because I think those people that are going to fall off are going to be the ones that try it on Game Pass.
Right.
And they'll go find something else on Game Pass.
That's correct.
Right.
Right. You'll still have the people who want to play the game are going to play the game.
Right.
You know what? The ship that they keep showing, I finally got into my head what it is.
The Last Starfighter.
It is the Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
It is the Last Starfighter.
It almost looks like the Last Starfighter.
It is the Last Starfighter ship.
Almost. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have all the big engines in the back, but they didn't show that. But it's close.
But you can make it.
That's correct.
That's right. You could make the Last Starfighter ship.
I could make the Last Starfighter ship.
Yeah.
It does look like it, though.
Yeah.
It's very close.
I'm excited. I'm excited as a gamer to play the game, but I'm cautious.
But you're not buying it.
I know. Well, I'm not, because I got a code, right? But if I wasn't getting the code, I probably would buy it to play it a week early, just because it's what it is, right? This is what I do. But
listen, I got to be honest. We're a week out.
Yep.
And I don't feel any different than I did a year ago. It's the same. Like I'm hoping for the best.
DT said you can't do the death bloom.
You don't know that. You don't know that, DTM.
Yeah.
You don't know that. We don't know. We don't know what kind of special weapons you could put on the thing. I mean, if they're gonna make fun of sci-fi movies and put the jokes in there, it might be in there, right?
I want to go watch that movie now. I want to go back and watch it.
I want to be clear here. I know a lot of people listen to us and think I'm just the negative Nancy. I've seen too much. I expect a lot. You show me what you can do. So I believe you. And I believe Bethesda can do this really well. And I believe it went through a lot of development hell to make it where it is right now. But at the same time, I waited 10 years, over 10 years for this game. And so I don't feel any different anymore. I'm hoping for the best.
Right.
I see so much potential in this game. However, will all the mechanics that are feeding into this game actually work as intended? It's a lot. Krebsy, you're looking at this from my point of view, right? There are so many mechanics in this game to do what it is you think the game is going to do. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So if I get 20% of what my perception is, I think it's a win, and let things develop as they come. But I'm not expecting Skyrim day one. I got to be honest with you. I'm not expecting Skyrim day one. There's too much going on. There's too much going on.
Dolphin says, I'm going to be a space whore.
But you can be whatever you want, Magic. You can do whatever you want.
Hey. All right, so speaking of Starfield, moving on to the next topic, Microsoft PC Game Pass arrives on NVIDIA GeForce Now servers this week.
Strange.
Very strange, right?
Very strange.
And then on top of that, we also have that, where is it? To make the, where is it? I'm sorry. Samsung forgot movie night. Says Samsung is making the first portable projector built into cloud. Okay.
Amazing.
So Samsung's got the televisions where you can play Game Pass.
Yeah.
NVIDIA's getting the thing so you can play Game Pass.
Yeah.
They also made a projector where you could take it anywhere and play Game Pass or Luna or anything else.
So let's say I'm a nerdy kid, but I don't have an Xbox, but I have a Samsung TV, and I say, Mom, Dad, look at this. We could play this through the Samsung TV. Can we try it? I know it's a low number,
right?
But it's still an option.
It's still there. Yeah,
it's still an option.
And then on top of that, all that with the cloud gaming, right? Microsoft is to sell off the Activision cloud gaming rights to Ubisoft in the bid for UK approval. Now, the restructuring of the Microsoft $68.7 billion Activision deal to address the concerns about the impact proposed acquisition on cloud gaming streaming raised in the UK Competition Marketing Authority, we are restructuring the transaction to acquire a narrow set of rights, says Microsoft President Brad Smith. This includes executing an agreement effective at closing our merger and transfer the cloud streaming rights for all and current new Activision Blizzard PC and console games released over the next 15 years to Ubisoft Entertainment SA, in a leading global game publisher, and the rights will be in perpetuity. Okay,
that's forever,
right? If they want to, right? They can just take the 15 and go for another 15 and go on for another 15. This restructure deal means that Microsoft does close its proposed acquisition, then it will not be able to release Activision Blizzard games exclusively on Xbox Cloud Gaming, which they don't care because they said that's not what we want to do, right? So now, Microsoft won't be able to exclusively control the license terms of Activision Blizzard games on rival services either. Instead, Ubisoft will control the streaming rights to Activision Blizzard games outside of the EU and license titles back to Microsoft to be included in the Xbox Cloud Gaming. Okay? Now, what it doesn't say here, because I think they're playing 4D chess here, right? Right now, everyone's like, oh, Microsoft's going to buy EA. They don't need to buy EA because EA is partnered with them, and EA Play is part of Game Pass, right? Ultimate.
Yep.
So who's to say that Ubisoft now, who owns the rights to all of Activision's stuff, doesn't take Ubisoft Plus and say, yeah, we own the rights, but we're also taking Ubisoft Plus and we're putting ourselves onto Game Pass underneath the Ultimate price, right? Could happen. I don't know. I mean, it just seems a little like, 'cause I don't see a lot of people paying $15 for Ubisoft Plus, $15 for EA Play, $15 for you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a very small community.
It seems very strange that all these things would come about a week before Starfield.
A week before Starfield launches.
It's weird how that happens.
How it all comes together.
Weird how that happens.
Right. What else we got here? And the last thing, I don't know about this. Right. The Starfield. It's skin, if that's what you want to call it.
It just seems really cheesy, bro.
The skin, it's like a Velcro. It's like a Trapper Keeper.
It's a Trapper Keeper.
It's a Trapper Keeper for your Xbox, right? Now, I don't know what the quality is. I know maybe some of you guys bought it.
Look at it. It looks vinyl.
I would like
vinyl.
Yeah, it looks like Trapper Keeper.
It's Trapper Keeper.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I feel like it's a Trapper Keeper for.
I don't understand.
For the console
for $50, bro.
$50
for $50.
Yeah. Now,
do you know what I got for $50 the other day? I play Axis and Allies.
I can guess a lot of things.
I play Axis and Allies, the board game, right? And Renegade Games picked up the licensing for Axis and Allies. Hasbro, I guess, fell out because Hasbro's under a lot of pressure now. They're losing a lot of money, right. So I guess they sold off the Axis and Allies brand. So Renegade Games picked it up. So they're doing reprints of the games that haven't been imprinted in like 10 years, 15 years. Like I wanted to get the World War I version, right? And if I want the World War I version, it's $400.
Jesus.
But now the re-release just came out. It's $100. Well, it used to be 80, but
right,
inflation
I got you.
and everything else.
Yeah.
They came out with a map, big map, one-piece map, rolled up, right? It's on that mouse material.
Yeah, it's on this material.
Yeah. Backside's rubber, front side's beautiful.
So it doesn't slide. Yeah.
7 feet by 4 feet. 7 feet by 4 feet.
That's
How
like,
much, bro?
That's like our board game.
How much?
When we made the Vegas.
How much?
When I priced ours, it was a couple.
200.
It was gonna be like 250.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, don't tell me. I'm gonna say $600.
$50.
What?
So I could get the map from my Accidentalities game
$50.
or the Trapper Keeper from my Xbox. Like, doesn't make sense to me, bro. That is okay. Look, that is the cheesiest gimmick I have seen for an Xbox ever. You're wrapping your Xbox in vinyl.
I mean,
is
get
this
it.
the 70s?
Well,
Is it not?
Well,
isn't that Velcro on the back?
It looks like Velcro on the back, right?
What is going?
It did take them long. It
Such
did take
cheese, bro.
It did take them long enough to get this shit out, though, right? Look at the Xbox. It's a blank slate to put whatever you want on it.
I like the way it looks. It's a monolith.
No, I understand that, but it took them long enough, right? And they don't want to put a sticker on it. This is the best way they came up with it.
Yeah, unwrapping my Xbox
In a Trapper
vinyl.
Keeper. In a Trapper Keeper. That's right.
That's horrible, bro.
So
that's the best you got for $50.
What else we got here? Oh, right here it says, this was from Phil Spencer. Xbox Phil Spencer says, when Activision Blizzard deal closes, you won't see Call of Duty immediately on Game Pass. He says there is an actual work to do to move the games to Game Pass. People think the deal closes and it's all Game Pass. Not true. It'll take us time to get the games on Game Pass. Yeah, but they're also on Ubisoft Plus, and they decide when they want to put them on Game Pass now, right? So we'll see, because if they want to put them on, well, that's on cloud. Never mind. That's on Game Pass. I'm mistaken, because that's Game Pass. It's separate than the cloud. That's separate than the cloud. I stand corrected. We got the NVIDIA thing down. How much time do we have left?
Privacy, it's vinyl. Let's pause the video when you're looking at it. It's the same material. It's vinyl. It's like that.
We're not going to have time to watch that. Epic goes. We're not going to have time to read that.
What do you mean? The show ends whenever you want.
I know.
We've gone 40 minutes over
those
last time.
Those stories are going to take longer. All right, the next story I want to talk about is this thing. The new PlayStation handheld gets name and price. Okay?
Give it to me.
So the price is $200.
Okay.
Okay. The new PlayStation handheld device, formerly known as Project Q, has been named PlayStation Portal. Okay, and it's available for $200 later this year as the first PlayStation handheld device in over a decade. That was also some expected backlash when PlayStation Portal was first announced. Now, the PlayStation Portal has limited functions. Okay, it has limited functionality when it causes many gamers to disagree it out of the gate, but there could be very well some of their what they want to stream games from their PlayStation 5 to the handheld. The device includes all fancy gimmicks found on the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller and boosts an 8-inch screen, LCD screen, that supports 1080p and resolution up to 60 frames per second after connecting the PlayStation Portal to your PlayStation 5 over Wi-Fi. We'll be able to stream most of the console games to the handheld, minus PlayStation VR 2 titles and games that are being streamed through the PlayStation Plus Premium. For some of these features, will justify PlayStation Portal for $200 price point. Now, unfortunately, at release date of PlayStation Portal still has yet to be announced. An interesting game. Gamers will have to wait to see more information at the front. So it basically is a device that you would use if your wife, your girlfriend, your son, your daughter is using the one television in your house with your PlayStation hooked up to.
You actually believe there's only one TV in someone's house?
What I'm saying is,
you're just making up a story?
I'm making up a reason why you would get this. Because why would you get this? Because right now, people can take a backbone, hook it up to their phone, and stream their games from the PlayStation to their cell phone or their tablet.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
They own a $1,000 phone.
Yes.
That they could just buy a $100 piece and put it, or a controller that you already own.
Yes.
And use it.
Yes.
Right? So what market is this for, Sarge?
It's the same market that the Atari people are in. This is the same market. Okay, here's the quintessential issue that's already been solved, but yet we're still debating this. The whole point of a handheld system originally was to bring the games that you have in your house on the go. Nintendo solved that problem by making a taco and you put your thing in the sleeve or out of the sleeve. I'm playing on a big TV,
Right.
and then I just pick it up and I leave the house. Same game. It comes with me. Same game.
Right.
Right. So now, in 2023, we have the ability to have a game system. The games are on the cloud, and I just walk around with my phone, and I'm playing the games from my house on my phone.
Right, but you have to be on Wi-Fi.
That's
Yeah, you
fine.
have to be on Wi-Fi.
But that's the whole point of having a handheld. The point of it wasn't the point of a handheld is to start over and collecting other games for the handheld. The whole point of it originally was I want to be able to bring the games from my house with me wherever I go. And we can do that. So what is this? What are you what game are the games separate? Are they cloud games? Are they basically games you already have?
It's everything that you own
It's
on
everything
your
I own.
PlayStation. Yeah,
okay.
everything you own on
So
your
that
PlayStation.
makes a little bit more sense, right? If it's the games I already own, and I can just. But my question once again is, can I just use the controller thing and hook it up to my phone? Why do I need that thing?
Water says, "Look, I have an iPad. Why would I need that?"
Okay, so what we're talking about then is everybody in this chat right now, including us, is we're elitist scumbags, and we're not looking at this like they look at this because normies don't know what we know, and so that looks really cool because I can play my games from my house outside of my house, but they don't know any better. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, Mantis says if you have the TV sharing problem, you can buy a TV for $200.
Right, Mantis. Right? Are they? It almost seems to me. I'm trying to be objective about this. It almost seems to me that the entire marketing for these kind of things is for people who don't know anything about technology and video games at all, and we're just trying to sell them crap that they don't need. Right? Because the rest of us know what this is, and like I don't understand who you're selling this to.
Right. Real quick, Mantis also has a correction. It's not vinyl; it's fabric.
And I answered him.
Okay,
that's even better.
Okay, all right.
That's even better. It just seems most of this stuff seems very strange.
Akuta Papa says you can only stream in house while on the same fucking Wi-Fi. It's idiotic device cash grab.
Right. Thank you. But only we know that. Aku, only we know that. The normies don't know that. To them, it's a great thing.
Creature, I play my Xbox when I go to my mother-in-law's house or I go to my mom's house when I visit down in South Florida. I literally bring my iPad, and I have I can't tell there's latency unless I'm playing like if I bring my box and I'm playing on the same Wi-Fi network, there's no latency on my iPad, none. Right? I could barely tell there's a latency problem when I'm playing over the cloud when I play my games on my iPad. So I don't know if you're saying it's going to be twice as fast with, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's going to be twice as fast as is it with your iPad. I don't know if that's true. False? It's not false, though.
What's he saying false to?
The portal is long play, watch how your mind changes over time as the play comes together. But you got to read between the lines sometimes. What did I miss?
What is he saying false about? I'm trying to figure out what is he saying false to somebody in chat? Or
I think he's saying false to me because the connectivity in the you're being a smartass creature. I got you. You're saying you're making a joke of because it's PlayStation, it's gonna take out the latency magically. Is that what the way you're being?
False that you have to be on the same network. That's 100% a motherfucking lie.
Okay. Sorry, when I read it, I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "There's no."
I didn't know which way he was going with it.
It's hard to read.
It's hard to read sarcasm.
Well,
inside
it's funny because I know Creature's voice.
Yeah.
So I'm when he types, I'm hearing his sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
But I didn't read it when I said I didn't hear him say it that way when I read it. So my apologies.
It's just weird. It's just weird. It's like they're trying to sell stuff to people that don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Like so, I could go, hey, you could just buy this controller and hook it up to your phone and play all our games that you have. But instead, I want to sell you this thing that does the same thing for $200.
I think people at some point, no matter what it is, like you're a fan of whatever they sell.
Like an Apple product?
Yeah, like an Apple product. And you're going to buy Apple because Apple came out with something and people are just, it's like a cult type of thing.
I get it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but how many things do you want? Right? You're already paying services, right? I'm giving you a monthly fee. So if I can get a handheld system and still pay the monthly fee and pay it on the go, then I'm in. But if I have to buy yet another device for the same purpose,
Right. I mean, Mantis is right. You could buy like a 48-inch, 50-inch television for $200 now. Right? Get a controller and like glue it to the side of the television sets and play like this. Do you know what I mean? With your DualSense controller. Okay. The next conversation I want to have is this right here. Okay. I've been saying for 2 weeks, right? I said it on the podcast with Lono. I said it on my own podcast, right? I've said it on regular streams. I said it's fucking stupid that Xbox parries their stuff together. Meanwhile, potential game of the year in the running right now, Baldur's Gate 3, potential game of the year, and it wasn't coming out for Xbox in the year of the game of the year, right? Like,
it's stupid.
Right. So much so that they literally gave an exclusive to PlayStation because they weren't getting it because they were pairing it with the S, okay? Which was dumb because of split screen, okay?
We already know the answer to this.
So everyone that was protecting the Series S because they didn't believe that the Series S was downgrading things because Halo Infinite didn't come out with split screen.
Right.
It was because they couldn't figure it out. No, it's because they couldn't figure it out on the S. Right? Forza Motorsports was dropping split screen and other things because of the S.
Do you see a pattern forming?
Baldur's Gate 3 said we can't do split screen. Everyone's like, it's not because of the S. It's not because of the S. It's not because of the S. Wait a minute. What's this? Oh, all improvements will be there with split screen co-op on the Series X, but the Series S will not feature split screen or co-op, but it also will include cross-save and progression between, right? They literally come out and say, look, yeah, it's going to be on the X, but it's not going to be on the S.
Do you see a pattern forming?
So
do you think maybe it's a rendering issue?
So now Xbox is coming out with Baldur's Gate 3, but it's not coming out on September 6th when it comes out for PlayStation, right?
Okay.
It's coming out at a later time, but we don't know that we don't know that date.
Okay.
To me, now my brain hurts because everyone's like, well, the S fans are going to get upset now. If I buy a car and it's an LX and someone buys the EX, same car.
Yep.
Okay. Some have heated seats, some don't have heated seats, right?
The options.
Right. The options
the
are
options for the level of the car you bought.
Right. I paid more money for mine than you paid for yours, right? It has more options. So now let's go back to a console. I paid $500 for my console. You paid $300 or $350 for your console. So it's a $150 difference.
Yep.
Certain features can't happen because you don't have as powerful of a system.
That's correct.
Okay. So why the fuck am I being punished?
What I want to know is why is there Xbox Series S entitlement? If I buy the lower grade system, why do I demand the same thing to be on both systems? Right. My system is not as powerful. Why do I think I deserve those options?
We go to a restaurant. You have a $2 steak. I have a $40 steak. My steak's going to taste much better than your steak.
I'm hoping.
Right? You'd be like, well, how come my steak doesn't taste as good as yours?
Because you paid $2 for it.
Because you paid $2 for it.
That's correct.
Right?
But why do we lose that context in this conversation? Why is if I buy the lower version of a system, I'm still entitled to the same
It makes no
options?
sense to me.
It doesn't.
I can make an argument saying, okay, if it's a first-party game and Phil Spencer and Xbox and Microsoft want to force their first-party titles to be working the exact same day and date when they launch, but to behold third-party developers to the same standards that you want, and they have to diminish their game to run on the lower-end tier system, which then holds it back. And they're like, well, we already have it working for this one, but you can't release it until you get it working for this one. They're like, why? We can't make it work on this one because of what you put in this box.
That's correct.
It boggles my mind.
But here's how they look at it though.
Oh, sorry.
Here's how they look at it though. Think about what Microsoft is actually doing. What they're actually doing is they are willing to sacrifice the core gamers of their hardware in order to get a more mass market of casuals in order to put them into the ecosystem of Game Pass. Right? So they are willing to sacrifice probably 3 to 5 million people who are hardcore, who only have the X.
Right.
to get the additional 15 to 20 million people into an S and be in their ecosystem.
Right.
So if I had 5, but now I'm sacrificing 5 to get 10, then I still doubled my people.
Right.
Right. So they don't care that you don't get your game. It doesn't matter to them because I'm getting you into my ecosystem is what they care about.
Yeah, because here's if you have an S, you paid less, and if you want to upgrade, you can go to the X. But I don't think Microsoft wants to sell the X's.
They don't.
They want you in the ecosystem in the thing.
But this is what I'm saying. They are willing to sacrifice the people that followed them for 25 years. Honestly.
Right.
Think about it. The people that have followed them for 25 years, you are willing to sacrifice that number in order to get other people, more casuals, into your ecosystem because in the long term, those people will pay more money.
Right. D-Mackie says, because the Xbox and X and S released at the same time, they were promised to play all the same games. They can play the same games. They just don't have the same features.
Right.
D-Mackie. There's a difference. It's not getting the game. For instance, Hogwarts Legacy, okay, can play on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, the Switch, and PC. They decided, as a company, we're going to make the best PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S X version first, get that running, and then the people that have the older systems that are not running the latest, greatest technology, they're going to get it at a later date. What's the difference? Right? The difference is those are lesser systems than the newer systems, so they have to make them work, and they can't release day and date as the other systems without having bugs and glitches. So what if we fast forward? Baldur's Gate 3 came out next year instead of doing what they're doing now, which is really smart, in my opinion. It comes out next year, and then they tell you, oh, yeah, the S is not going to have split screen still. So now you waited 6-7 months to get the game, right, out of the year where it was Game of the Year, okay?
But they weighed that out recently. Right. They sat in a room and decided.
That's right.
They sat in a room and decided.
And figured that shit out real fast in one weekend.
That if we wait, we're not going to capitalize on this game.
Of course not.
Because those people won't play it for a year.
That's right.
That's stupid.
Right. And they decided, okay, well, we're going to release it, and S is not going to have the thing that we said that we couldn't work on.
So then what you're really saying is, and they say it openly now, is the S doesn't work the same way as the X, which we already knew.
Right.
So why do we have to pussyfoot around the facts? The facts are the S doesn't run what the X can.
Correct.
Yes, I'm going to release it to you, but it's not going to run the same. Why? It doesn't have the same features. It doesn't have the same hardware. It doesn't have the same power. You bought a discounted system. What is it you want?
Right.
Right? But they're not saying that to the people with the S. They're saying that to the people with the X because they are the ones that have to wait. They would have had to have wait right now. Right. Except they finally decided, I don't know if we can do it. I think we'd be dicking over the people with the X's too hard this year if we did this.
Right.
We did it to them with Forza. We did it to them with Halo. We did it to them for Redfall. No. We can't do it again.
To me, this is a no-brainer. I think going forward, they should definitely look at breaking the parity for other things. And I'm saying, like, if the game has something like split screen that they're not going to push out a game because of it on both systems because of it, stupid, right? If it's working on one, release it. And if those people really want to play split screen, they can't do it. Just like I can't play a certain thing on a certain device because it's not capable of doing it, right? That's just the way it is. They also, just to put it out there, D-Mackie, Xbox also told you that the games would be 60 frames per second up to 120 frames per second. And
up to.
Like
a little parakeet.
Right.
Up to.
So we'll see what happens with the. I just can't imagine anything else in the world. If you paid less money, you got a good deal. If you got the X for the same price as the S, great. But if you paid $200 less for something, how do you expect to have the exact same thing as the other person that paid $200 more? You're like in a dream world.
But this is my point. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, D-Mackie. We agree with that, right? They botched it so much that if they came out next generation and said, we have the Xbox Series X, XXX, X2, whatever it is, and it does 400K, whatever, I would be like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. You burnt the bridge when you told me that this console that I already bought does 60 up to 120 frames per second. And all the games are coming out. They're going to be awesome. And every game you came out with is like 30 up to 60 frames per second. Now, there are games that do 60 frames per second, but there's a lot more games that do 30 frames per second on this console still.
But once again, I really do believe that they're playing 4D chess, because if I tell you this, and then the next time I go out with a system, I tell you there is no system. It's just a box on your television.
Right. You're just playing on the cloud.
So now,
and that's why it's running at 30 frames per second.
Right. So now I don't have to worry about buying a system and getting dicked over. I'm just permanently dicked, because however your cloud works is how I have to play. Right.
Right. So
create the problems.
Right. Sell the solution.
Sell the solution.
Yeah. So I'm glad they decided at Gamescom. They're like, well, let's get together and talk, because
it's a problem.
We have 800,000 people playing on PC. It's coming out for PlayStation next week when Starfield launches.
Yep.
What do you want to do with this? Well, we want to get sales on Xbox.
That's correct.
Well, all right. So I think it'll be probably October when it comes out. To me,
I think it's ready.
I think they should launch it on the 6th.
I think
with PlayStation.
I think
but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Listen, BG3 on console is ready.
Yeah.
It's just not ready for S.
For S, correct.
But it's ready.
Well, split screen's not ready for S.
It would have had to have been for the release date to go in. Right? It's just an asterisk.
D Mackie says Switch 2 will probably be going to be comparable to the S is such a joke. Even if it is, right? Nintendo still wins, because not only do they still people love Nintendo, but if it's as powerful as the Xbox Series S, that's a huge jump from the Switch 1 to Switch 2 then.
But DMAC, you understand though, they really, Microsoft really, and I know I'm trying not to be negative about this, because I'm a gamer. They don't care about the people who bought an X, right? Their mentality when they released both consoles, their whole mentality, go back to the beginning when they were promoting it. When they released both systems, they said, this is the X, this is the S. This is what this has, and this is what this has. And you said to yourself, all the nerds said, well, why do I want that? Why do I want the S? It's not as powerful. But they didn't care. They weren't looking for you to buy the X or the S. They're looking for the people who never had a console. And how do I get them into my ecosystem?
Half the people,
half the price.
Half the people that bought an Xbox Series S have
never had a game
Xbox.
system.
Yeah, never had a game system.
So what you basically said is, we know there's a market out there that people won't pay more than X number of dollars for a game system. We've learned from past game systems. We know what our market is. So how do we get people to buy a game system that don't normally buy a game system? Well, we have to create a structure where we have value encrusted into our game set, that they can play games monthly without having to worry about buy games. That shows value. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Yes, you're hardcore. I'm hardcore. I got the X. I'm not getting a fucking S. I'm not buying a potato. I want the real system. So I got the real system. All the promises of what your system was supposed to run, they burnt the bridge, because it wasn't about us. It just wasn't.
I think if you have an S, you're not disappointed, and if you have an X, you are disappointed because you spent extra money and you're not getting.
And you're not getting the game you're supposed to get.
Real quick, Monster. If you're saying all S owners not demanding the X features, then
they don't.
Then you're not part of that conversation, right? We're not talking about you as a person that bought the S. We're talking about the people that did buy the S that expect the X features when they had something that's a lower cost, which are people out there that complain about this. Because of these parity, people are complaining that, well, now we're going to be missing features. Well, yes, because you didn't pay for the higher tier thing.
Yes.
So don't take it as we're like every single S, because that would be me as well. I have an S. My son absolutely loves the S. Okay. Look, the S to me is a really great system if you're a parent and you want to give it to your kids.
You're growing a market base.
Right. But
growing a market
for me,
base.
I'm burnt because I got the X, and it does the exact same thing the S does, because they're not putting the potential of what the X can do. So we'll see what happens with the future of that. Real quick, we're not gonna really talk about it. No Man's Sky came out with yet another update. It's called Echoes. now there's like pirate frigates and big battleships and like space battles and trench wars and a whole bunch of stuff that you can do.
Well, they have to do something because
Starfield's coming out. Yeah. So, so No Man's Sky has another massive update as well. We already got that story. I already closed that.
Sidebar. I don't know if you know this, but for some strange reason, the newest DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom, is 35% off. Didn't that game just come out?
Wait a minute. The newest DLC.
The newest DLC. Didn't it just come out in July? I thought it came out in July. Was it June? Maybe it was no. Was it July? Chat. Was it July or June that the Necrom Elder Scrolls thing came out? June.
Came out June 5th.
So we're just over 2 months. 35% off.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay. Here's what they're doing. I know what they're doing. Boom. It just came to me. Are you ready? They know Starfield's going to bring a whole crap ton of people into Game Pass. Yes. So ESO is on Game Pass. The regular game itself is there.
Right.
No
charge included.
There's nothing included, right?
Right.
So you're like, oh, I'm here for Starfield. Maybe I don't like Starfield.
Oh, I can download Elder Scrolls and try.
What's Elder Scrolls online? Yeah, and you have that, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, oh, this is fun. Oh, they have a DLC. Oh, it's on sale.
Oh, it's on sale for 35% off.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
because it did say limited time.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It sounds. Yeah. Okay, Travis. For it's not the same games, but yeah.
ESO is greater than Starfield. I mean, that's some massive multiplayer online game to a single player space game.
I don't know.
Travis, every once in a while, man, you get these like not every once in a while. You have a lot of trash takes sometimes, man. I mean, holy Christ.
I think it's the medication. I'm pretty sure it's the medication. He takes it like 7
o'clock.
o'clock.
Who would win in a battle?
7 or 8 o'clock. He takes it like 7, 8
or
o'clock.
the
and
Incredible
after an hour,
Hulk.
It starts kicking in.
Yeah. Who would win in a fight? An ant or the Incredible Hulk? I don't know.
I don't know. The ant can lift 100 times his weight.
Well, it's true. Could be close. Could be close. Remake, Sarge. Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered announced for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch. There's another game to add to your remastered 2-year remaster.
I know no one remembers that when I said it, but I told you when I said it, I said the next 2 years are going to have the most remakes and of remasters ever. And here's another one on the list.
Yeah. Just another one.
Let me ask you a question, honestly. Honestly.
Travis says the ant has more character than the Hulk. That's true. Disney Hulk is a beta bitch.
Let me ask you a question seriously. Like, I grew up during the first-person shooter genre, like all of them, like from Doom, Wolfenstein, Heretic, Dark Forces, like every Duke Nukem. I've played every first-person shooter ever in existence, right? Ever created.
I like Dark Forces.
Okay, I like this, but are you really? If you've never played it, 100% yes,
absolutely, sure.
But if you already played this game, are you really going to rebuy this game?
A small percentage would.
I don't think so.
Collector's edition?
Other people will.
Collector? Like if you want to collect it again or something like that?
Other people will. But I mean, I seen what they do to remasters. Do you think it's going to be so worth it that it's going to be remastered so badass that you have to have it?
Perhaps.
Right, Travis. Exactly my point.
Where is? Come on.
Because if I showed you the original, Travis, you'd be like, "I'm not playing that piece of shit." Right? If you played the original Dark Forces in today's gaming world, you'd be like, "I'm not playing this shit. What is this?"
All right, guys. It's time for Q&A. We have some questions that we're going to read.
What about the Rockstar thing, dude? We didn't talk about the Rockstar thing.
It's all right. We can talk about Rockstar. It's fine. Sarge wants, when he's at home, he wants to get off as fast as possible. He's here. He's like, let's continue. Rockstar.
I don't have my game system here.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rockstar. GTA 6 leaker messaged all Rockstar game employees this message. I'm not a Rockstar employee. I'm an attacker. If Rockstar does not contact me on Telegram within 24 hours, I will start releasing the source code. Do you think this is real, Sarge?
I think, first of all, the vocabulary is horrible. Like, the whole structure of the sentence is horrible. It's supposed to come across as some kind of threat. The punctuation's horrible. And who calls themselves the attacker?
I'm the attacker.
Like that is. Let me tell you who says attacker. Am I ready? People who've never played video games before, trying to sound like they play video games and trying to sound threatening that makes people think, "Oh, I'm an attacker."
Yeah.
Who says attacker? Yeah. Name me somebody ever in any kind of gaming nerd world, someone's called somebody else the attacker.
Somebody that's never seen another human being in person.
The attacker?
Yeah.
I'm the
attacker?
attacker?
So the teenage GTA 6 leaker behind the massive hack revealed in GTA 6 gameplay and more has been found guilty by the UK jury in the court today. 18-year-old Aaron was accused of hacking. Wait, is this video? This is from... Oh, yeah, this is from... He was accused of blackmailing companies such as Uber, Nvidia, and along with Rockstar. After a 7-week trial, the jury concluded and did the fact to do the crime. So the BBC reports that the teen from Oxford hacked Rockstar Games and caused GTA 6 leaks from the hotel room, whitelisted on bail for other hacking charges in 2022. The court was told that he had a 17-year-old accomplice stole nearly £100,000 from 5 consumers in British Telecom, and they were both arrested. Now, more GTA hack details. The pair continued to hack Nvidia before being arrested again. Now, to put this into a hotel and then identify was leaked and received more strict bail terms. And this is when they carried out the Rockstar attack. Police searched the hotel room and found that he had broke his bail conditions in Rockstar Games hack was carried out by using recently acquired phone keyboard, mouse, and Amazon Fire Stick.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, so
that's all it takes. A keyboard, mouse, phone, and a Fire Stick.
So
Rockstar's mine.
According to the trial, the internal Slack communication system saying, I'm not a Rockstar employee, I'm an attacker. The Rockstar does not contact me with Telegram in 24 hours. I'll be starting to release the source code. The teenager then posted 90 videos of the GTA 6 gameplay under the account name Teapot Uber Hacker. So, hacker did not stand for trial. The teenager, autistic, deemed not fit to stand trial, so he did not appear in court to give evidence, and due to this, the jury were asked to determine whether or not he did act alleged or not, if he did it with a criminal intent. More crimes than GTA. Aside from the hacking of Rockstar, the teen hacked banking company, accessing approximately 5,000 customers' data. Uber, meanwhile, claimed around $3 million worth of damages were done to them. So according to the prosecutor, Rockstar Games, just a matter of days after hacking Uber and Revolt, 2 days, in fact, the alleged threatened of all Rockstar game developers in Slack message, which intention leaking the GTA 5.6 source code. There was $4 million ransom up by the pair, and the younger accomplice hacked the City of London's police cloud storage just weeks after the arrest him in previous hack. I said this. I said these guys are just going to keep doing it, right? Because they can. So the 17-year-old who also said he's convinced that involvement with the activities and the Lapis gang, but cannot be named because of his age. So to keep this to date, GTA Online news update, make sure to check back. Oh, so that's it. So there you go.
Is this the same kid? The one that you
the same kid, threat? Yeah. So they actually found him and booked him, and then he didn't show up in court. And
so what? But what's his problem?
Well, I'll tell you what he did.
What's his problem? Like, what does he have against Rockstar?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he hacked Uber and everything else. Maybe he doesn't have a dad. I don't know. I
understand he's practicing and he wants to get paid, but like, what is his thing against Rockstar? Like, he can hack anybody he wants.
Well, there's a guy
hack Ubisoft.
There was a guy that literally ran up on stage the other day.
I didn't pay attention. What was he saying?
He was asking about Grand Theft Auto 6. And they did a video.
I don't understand. He ran up on stage. I didn't hear that.
He ran up on stage and was like, "Where's Grand Theft Auto 6?" Like, he wanted to know what Grand Theft Auto 6 was. And then
how was he crazy?
3 years prior at the Game Awards, he did the exact same thing, asking about where's GTA 6.
So was that him?
Yeah, it's a different guy. It's a different guy. It's not the same guy that's doing this.
It's not the same guy.
So I'm just using him as an example. Like, these people are just, they're like out of their minds. They just.
So obviously Grand Theft Auto is causing problems then.
Well, we know these are all true then.
Well, what I'm saying though is
we know all the hacks and leaks are actual footage of Grand Theft Auto 6 now.
What I'm saying though is if that's the kind of thing that's happening to people because of GTA, then GTA Online is causing a problem.
Right.
It's causing people to think that they're criminals, and they have to do these things, and this is what they're doing. They think it's okay.
Oh, did he say Bill Clinton wants GTA 6? Is that what he said? I don't even give the people like time of day when I was just like, whatever, I don't give a shit, right?
Bill Clinton.
Like, how do you stop that? Like, how does security stop someone from running up on stage and saying, "I want Grand Theft Auto 6"?
If that's what he said, it sounds like a crazy person. That sounds like something a crazy person would say. Like, somebody else wants to know about it. Like, doesn't sound right to me. You're in the head, right? You're not right in the head.
I mean, does Bill Clinton really want to know when Grand Theft Auto 6? I think he can make a phone call to Rockstar and be like, "Hey, I'm Bill Clinton, and I want to know. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, and when is GTA 6 coming out?"
It just sounds. A lot of the stuff sounds sketchy at best. Listen, I think Rockstar is just letting Starfield have their moment of glory, and next year when they decide to release whatever it is they're going to release, no one's going to say it. No, nobody.
The internet will explode.
I foresee a lot of dates being shifted next year.
Oh yeah, months.
I see a lot of dates being shifted.
Oh, did I shut down the? Oh no, I did the wrong thing.
We're doing Q&A?
Yeah, we're doing Q&A.
Okay.
I got it.
Some hacker for GTA. It's incredible.
Oh, it's over here. Okay, hold on. Let me close that out. Close this window.
I still have the statement. And we made an irresponsible open world game.
Right. All right. Guys, hit that like button down below. I see you. If you didn't hit the like button, I'm banning you. No, it's not true. I wouldn't know who to ban. Make sure you hit the like button down below. We're going to go to Q&A now. If you have a question, ask it now. Because Sarge wants to sit here as long as possible, so go ahead and ask some questions.
I don't want to sit here as long as possible.
So Krebsy,
I want to play something.
Krebsy says, what is your most memorable moment in gaming for games that you played and for the industry as a whole?
I have so many. Like, what do you want to know? Like, give me, be more specific. Like, greatest triumph, greatest problem, like... most emotional, like there's so many things I've played. You have to understand, I've been playing games since I was 4. It's like since I was 4.
Well, Travis, I don't care about you anyway, so it's all right. It doesn't matter if you hit the like button or not.
Give me more detailed question. What's the question? Hit me again. What was the question?
The question is, what was your most memorable moment in gaming for games that you played and for the industry as a whole? I think one of my
I got so many. Okay,
go ahead.
You go first.
Well, one of my first memorable moments in gaming is when I played the TIE Fighter game, like the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
Just TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter,
was the first
yeah,
one.
Yeah. Like playing that game and just seeing the graphics that happened then.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing, right? Like back then,
yeah.
To do Flight Simulator.
To piggyback on that, I remember playing that game, and I remember that was my first modding experience. I was 14, and when I played that game, I downloaded mods so I could make the Return of the Jedi battle. You could actually pick the ships.
Yes, I remember.
And program where they would go on the 3D map, and so you had to code it. And I would tell the ship, the ship would go like this, then it would go like this, then it would do this, right? And I programmed it. It took me 3 weeks, and I did the Return of the Jedi battle. Then, 2 years later, when they released X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, that battle's actually in the game. Like, you would actually play the Return of the Jedi battle in the game.
One of my other moments is the mod that happened for Battlefield 1942 when they did the Star Wars is a big part of a lot of the stuff that I like. Where they did the mod, where they did the Star Wars mod.
Yep.
And they had the
walkers,
the Hoth battle. Yes.
That was before Battlefront came out.
Yes, that's before.
That was before the original Battlefront even came out.
That's right, because that was 2003, and then I think the first one came out in 2004, 2005, something like that.
Yep. Well, let's see. For single game, I remember finally beating The Adventure of Link, which I hated, but I wanted to finish it. And after breaking 2 controllers, doing the last... Now, for those of you who don't understand Adventure of Link, there was a bug in that game where... Oh, not a bug. I think it was an actual way the game was played. That when there was a save checkpoint someplace, there was no moving that checkpoint. So the last 20 minutes of the game is one checkpoint. And so you only have the 1 life, and I was maxed out... But you have to defeat a series of guys before you get to the boss. And then when you fight the boss, after you kill the boss, then you have to fight Shadow Link. So basically, you have to fight 4 bosses, the main boss, and then Shadow Link to win. And when you die, you don't start at the boss. You start at that other spot, and you have to kill 4 bosses, the big boss, and the shadow guy over again.
Right.
So I broke 2 controllers. All right? I broke 2 controllers. And then when I finally beat that game, I remember ripping off my shirt and running around my house screaming, "Yes! Yes!" And to this day, I've never ever played that game ever again. That's one moment in the gaming world I'll never forget.
One of the games that I thought, one more thing for Krebsy's thing is Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 was one of the first games, and I was in my 20s, right? It came out.
I think so.
I was in my 30s when I played it because it came out in 2011. Yeah, so I'm 45. Yeah, it's like 35.
Yep.
Okay. Mass Effect 2, when I played the game and I made a poor choice and I lost like my whole crew.
Right.
I was literally upset. Like I felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Because
you don't replay.
I don't replay. I don't save scum or anything like that. Not that there's anything bad with that. I'm just saying I don't do it. So I made the choice and I felt sick to my stomach. And at that moment I was like,
that's how you know how invested in the game
right.
you are.
I didn't know how invested I was in the game until I made the choice. And then when it happened, I was like, holy shit.
Right.
And I was just like, what's happening right now? Like I was emotionally attached to characters in a video game that I didn't think I gave two shits about.
Yep.
So that was one of my major moments, and that was 35. So
I have so many though.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a couple.
Many.
Yeah.
Finally beating the hidden bosses in Final Fantasy VII after spending a week raising gold chuckaboos to get the black chuckaboo in order to get Knights of the Round in order to kill the hidden bosses. I think that was like an achievement for me because Final Fantasy VII was a nightmare for grinding. If you guys complain about grinding, you have no idea what grinding is until you have to grind materia in Final Fantasy VII. Let's put it that way.
Right. Real quick, I'm going to ask D. Mackey. I'm going to ask you a question because you didn't put it in the chat, but I see it in chat. So, question: are there any gaming events in Texas you enjoy?
Gaming events in Texas. Is he hinting on something?
I don't know what you mean, D. Mackey. Like I've never been to a gaming event in Texas, so I don't know what you mean by that. All right. Add to that in chat, and then okay, I'll go to the next one. Krebsy says, with actors strike happening, are actors allowed to be a part of video games? And if so, would you like to see in a game?
They're not.
Or who would you like to see in a game?
They're not. No, the first part is no. That's part of the acting.
No. Well,
they're not allowed.
No, you're allowed. No, they're not part of SAG and AFTRA. AFTRA is for the American Screen Guild Award, like agree.
But if there's an actual actor they're trying to use for voiceover in a video game,
it's
they can't.
It's underneath a different thing.
Sure.
It's underneath a different. I forget what it's called, but they're not part of. Yeah, it's a different union. They're not part of SAG.
So they could do work as voiceovers without getting in trouble?
They could do voiceover work. They can't do like motion picture. They can't do voiceover work though for animated films because that's still part of.
Got it.
Yeah, video games is a different thing. And who would I like to see? I don't have anybody that I would like to see. I don't give a shit. I want good actors. I don't care who it is.
I think they should use crotchety old Harrison Ford's voice in whatever video game sci-fi they should do on purpose. On purpose, have Harrison Ford's voice in a sci-fi game, and don't tell anybody until they're actually playing the game and he starts talking. And everyone's like, he sounds familiar. They don't tell you, but you know it's him.
And Travis says anyone but Brie Larson. Yeah, D. Mackey, I'm not in Texas. I was in Texas. I lived in Texas for like 9 months, and then I just went there on vacation. But I live in Florida, so that's why I was a little confused. I was like, yeah, I've never been to any gaming conventions there. Okuda Papa says, Thurry, do you think that they knew that the server's going to be shit? Did they stress test before release? I'm assuming you're talking about Wayfinder, Okuda Papa, and I don't think they did. I think every game company knows that servers are going to be a problem, and I think at this point in time, okay, miraculously,
roll the dice.
Diablo did a really good job on their launch with the queues, but most companies are like, everyone's used to having shit servers, so it's not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. I think they knew they were going to have problems with the servers, and I think they don't care because it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to like
do it the right way first time.
Right, come out and be like, we fucked up.
Right.
YouTube Lurker says, with Starfield selling early access, can we still assume that Game Pass gets games day and date? To me, the release date is the day and the public gets access. The Game Pass has to wait 5 days to play. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, Lurker, and it is a kind of weird, right? day and date on Game Pass, day and date September 6th, but early access it's before. So which is day and date, right? Like day and date is the date, but yet if you pay extra, you get early access. So that's not day and date.
For me, the predatory psychological bribe that they give to you.
Creature says day and date 6.
Right? that they give to you in order to get a game early, even though you know there's no reason to get it that. It doesn't matter. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
The crap game is still going to be a crap game if I do it day 1 or day 7. You still haven't fixed it yet. And you're going to bribe me to do it. And you want more money from me. Like it's scummy to me.
See,
scummy to me.
But here's the problem, right? Day and date. Here's the problem. We're giving you the game early. Sell the solution. $30 extra.
Yeah, and they did, and you hand it over,
and they do it. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is what it's going to be. Day 5032. Yeah. Akuta Papa says, if Starfield was on PlayStation 5, do you think it would we would have as much hate towards it from Sony boys? No. There would be no complaining. Everyone would be like, I can't wait for this game. But because one section can't get it and the other can, they're like, this is fucking bullshit. This is the worst game ever. Look at this. They can't even do this. They make fun of everything.
But you can't say that after you have 17 exclusives that only you have.
What's good for the goose is not good for the gander.
I get it,
right?
But
Travis says, in your opinion, does the upcoming Iron Man game need to have moments where you play as Tony Stark and then missions where you play as Iron Man himself? I mean,
what does he do as Tony Stark? Run around and buy some shit?
Yeah. Do you have like sex scenes and like
snarky,
sleep with people?
Sell some weapons to the military, then go.
I got it. This is what you have to do. Tony Stark. When you're Tony Stark, you have to go and be demeaning towards people, and then you have to sleep with the hot waitress to get your stamina up, so you can be Iron Man and then go battle.
Right. Ego has to be high enough.
Yeah.
To be
Your
Iron
ego
Man.
has to be like
right,
super high.
You have to have a certain amount of ego in order to become Iron Man.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Like the Hulk has to be a certain amount of anger to turn into the Hulk. Yeah. Same thing with Iron Man. It's an ego thing.
You've slept with 3 women. Now go on a mission. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm amazing. I'm Iron Man. Just start flying around.
Here's my number. Talk to you later. You get bonus points if you do it with the suit on. Bulls for Life says, I think we have something else baked in this, and they are up to something. What do you mean by that, Bulls for Life? Because I don't know.
Yeah, what question is that for?
What question was that for? So what?
Come on.
What are you saying as far as baked in?
I hope he's still in check.
Let me know what you mean by that.
He's an alcoholic. I mean,
come on now.
Come on.
What's going on, Santos? I mean, wait, are you saying you can't be a sex addict and an alcoholic? I mean, that's a little racist there, Krebsy.
If you're an alcoholic, it's harder to be a sex addict.
That's what Viagra's for.
That's correct.
That's right.
What's up, Santos?
All right. Well, before Bull for Life gets back to us, we'll go to Big T. Big T says, stuck on an island. You can only play one game for 20 years. Choose Forspoken, Gollum, or Redfall. Oh, my God.
He's sadistic.
Is that an island or are we in hell?
That's sadistic, Big T.
All right. That's like sadistic. Kill, marry.
Why? First of all, why 20 years? I'll kill myself before that happens. I mean...
All right, this is what I would do. Is it
I
digital or disc?
I
gotta know. Is it digital or disc?
I don't want to pick. There's too many games that are crappy. Which one was Forspoken?
Forspoken was the one that was just for PlayStation. It's the girl that like surfing on the sand. She's got the special abilities. It's like oh
God.
It's a generic. It's like a generic.
Oh God. I think he's
digital. I think so. I can't kill myself with the disc then.
I think
okay.
I think he's baiting us. I think he knows which one we're gonna pick. I think he's did it on purpose because he knows what the answer is.
Yeah, he knows the answer is Redfall.
Right. The answer is Redfall.
The answer is Redfall.
I think he wants us to, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't play the other ones for 20 years without killing yourself. Forspoken, at least you can make some shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking for Redfall. The answer is Redfall.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at least I have magic. But you're not a vampire.
That's right. That's all you wanted to hear. Yeah, because it's Redfall. Because if you think about it, Gollum
Travis,
is
they're all terrible.
right. They're all terrible games. But Redfall, if you're stuck on an island, like how many times are you gonna play Forspoken?
Right, once you know everything.
Redfall, at least there's 4 characters.
Right,
You can play, right?
Yeah,
and if you got the pass, the obligation pass, there's extra characters coming.
That's right.
Right? So you have more to do, right? There's always that potential they could throw some DLC in there. Right? Is there a season pass for this, Big T? So, tells you how bad the other games are. Where Redfall is like the shit of the shit, and Gollum is worse than that.
You could not. I wouldn't play Gollum with stolen money. Like
Wrong. Forspoken gameplay was 20 years, though. It's 20 years. I can't play. Look, I couldn't play any game. That's why I asked if it was digital or disc, because if it was disc, I would snap it in half and then slit my throat.
That's it. Yeah.
Because I know I'm stuck on an island and I don't want to play Redfall. That's what I would do.
And if I wanted to be really critical about this, I want to know how I got power.
Right. It's a long extension cord, solar power.
The game runs on hatred.
Yeah.
the more you hate the game, the longer it stays on. So in order to stop playing, you have to love the game.
Yeah.
You have to love the game for the game not to work.
Down.
Yeah. Because you're in hell.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. All right, the last question until I don't know if Bull for Life is still here. Krebsy says
that's a good question from Bull, though.
I've got to ask, how about the Destiny showcase? I don't know anything about Destiny. I heard there's deck building in it. Did you hear there's deck building in it?
As soon as I even heard that, I was like, I'm never looking at you
The
anymore.
person that was interviewing, I watched it, was like, when I heard there was deck building, I was just like, Chef's kiss. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Destiny needed. We needed another reason to play something else. They needed deck building.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the Destiny thing. Have fun, whoever's playing it.
I hope you enjoy your last year.
All right, let's try
My question is, here's what I'm concerned about. The people have been playing Destiny now for almost 10 years. When the game stops.
No, it's not deck building. It's a deck. Like, it's the same shit if you're collecting orbs or whatever.
Right, but the cards give you powers.
Yeah, the cards give you power.
It's deck building.
Yeah,
it's a deck building thing inside the game, DT. That's what it is. Yeah, but you're using cards for abilities in the game. That's the same thing as having a deck build.
So I have a question, DT. Back for Blood. Did it have deck in it? Did it have cards in there?
Deck building.
That's exactly the same thing.
That's deck building.
The exact same thing. I put a card on me and I can run faster. I can shoot better. I have better accuracy. Whatever.
So what happens to these poor kids when Destiny ends, bro? When the 10-year thing ends?
Destiny's never ending, Sarge.
Oh, I think it's got to end.
Nope. It's just gonna go right into D3, Destiny 3.
It's not gonna be called Destiny 3 though. It'll just be called Destiny.
No, they're stupid. They'll call it Destiny 3.
Why, in order to get more people to buy it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because it's brand new.
It's got a 3 behind it.
Did you notice for that teaser trailer, the first thing they showed you was you picking up a Gjallarhorn? Those fucking cocksuckers.
I know. In the trailer they put
that
the
was
Gjallarhorn.
Straight up Gjallarhorn.
But it's already been back in the game.
I understand that, but they still put
they put it
there.
because it's ending. This chapter's ending. Remember the Gjallarhorn? You liked the game when Gjallarhorn was in it. Now it's coming to a close.
I like
Come back and use the Gjallarhorn.
Yeah, I like the Gjallarhorn.
Yeah.
I get it.
The strip club never closes. That's exactly right, Santos. Right? Stripper girlfriend's gonna be there. She's always gonna be there. All right, let's try to do Bulls for Life. What is he talking about? What were we talking about that he says, I think they have something else baked in this and they're up to something?
It's gotta be Starfield. It's gotta be.
Is that what he's talking about?
It's gotta be Starfield. It's gotta be.
Oh man, I feel bad because he's not in chat anymore. Which means he didn't hit the like button. Maybe he did.
Bookmark his question.
I can't bookmark it. You know what I will do though?
Screenshot.
I'm gonna copy it. I'm put it.
I'm pretty sure it was for Starfield.
I'm gonna put it in Discord. Give me 1 second. Was it Sony's handheld? It's what we're talking about? You think so? You think they have something else baked in? What, like a Trojan horse or something? Like, what do they... I'm going to put it...
Oh, no, we talked about it, DT. We all know. Don't you remember that if you didn't have a Gjallarhorn, you couldn't do Crota's Raid with people? Do you not remember that? What do you have, Gjallarhorn? Sorry, you can't come to Crota. I'm just trying to get some gear, bro. Nope, no Gallahorn. So people had to grind for Gallahorn in order to be accepted to go to Crota. And by the way, did I not see the Crota raid again as an advertisement inside that teaser as well?
That's free though. That's
I don't care if it's
that's
free.
That's coming back, Sarge.
I don't care if it's free. Why would you show me? Why would you show me the Crota's raid again? Jesus.
Yeah, I look.
Do you remember what kind of nightmare that was to run through the thrall shit?
That was fun.
Yeah, it was real fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Real fun.
Yeah, it was. Come on, it was fun. D1 was fun.
Yes, D1 was fun.
That was in D1.
Still hard as shit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because we didn't know. You're like, how the fuck are you gonna figure out how to run to the lamps? We didn't know.
That's because you had to know what weapons to bring with you to help clear them out quicker. You couldn't just use any gun. You had to use specific guns that help you clear quicker.
Oh, yeah, Big T. If you didn't have the Gallahorn, you were excommunicate, whatever the hell it is from
John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick.
Excommunicado.
Yeah, you were gone. You were not allowed to play the raid if you did not have a Gallahorn.
Stop it, Wolverine. That's a lie. You drink too much, man. There's no way you didn't do Crota.
What?
You eat, bleed, you eat, sleep, breathe, bleed, Destiny. There's no way.
You never did the Crota
There's
raid?
no way.
I don't believe you.
No way, dude.
I don't believe you.
No way. He probably hated it so much he blocked it out.
I think you blocked it out like a bad childhood memory.
You blocked it out.
Show me where Destiny hurt you. Where did it point to the doll? Where did it hurt you? I think.
Did you not finish it, or did you not try it at all?
Did you played Destiny 1? Stopped playing before Dark Below. Came back last 2 weeks of Rise of Iron.
New girlfriend.
Okay.
New girlfriend? Was it a new girlfriend? That's why. There's no way you just stopped playing Destiny. You had to have you had a real woman in your life at that point. That had to have happened.
Yeah, I still like Volta Glass the best. Volta Glass was the best.
Well, because it was
the first.
It was the.
You always remember your first.
It was the first of what that game was.
Yeah, and then it was all downhill from there.
What the structure.
I know
of the
people
game
will
was.
pick. They're gonna pick the King's
Fall.
King's Fall raid is the
sure.
best. But for me,
because that was the epic battle with the largest guy, and
yeah. I know most people would pick that one, but for me, Volta Glass, the figuring it out, like just the whole process of it, that it was awesome.
The steps leading up to you figuring it out. It was that everyone learned together.
Yeah,
you were
finding
learning,
that secret passage on the side.
Right, you learned.
Yeah, and stuff like
learning.
that. Yeah, it was
cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would jump down the center after
Yep.
Yeah, and then the maze. Or what were those guys called?
The ones that fought you, then automatically killed you.
The little Matrix guys. What were those guys? Where they would squeal. I forget what their names were.
I forget what they were. Yeah, someone in the chat knows.
Yeah, that whole raid was just awesome. Destiny touched me in all the right places. Wait, that was the other girl's name, Destiny. Oh, to be honest, the best DLC names, sir, not part of this franchise. Which one?
The best DLC is the aptly named Sir, not part of this franchise.
Stop kicking my camera.
It's an earthquake.
We're in Florida. The sand's too soft.
Even worse.
Well, we do have earthquakes. You just can't feel them. I forget what those... what were they called?
I don't remember what they're called.
I forget what they were called.
I remember that one of the achievements was to kill them.
Yeah, you had to all just...
Dogpile on them. Dogpile on them to kill them.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they're called, though.
Oh, question. Are we going to play... Are we going to do... Well, actually, no. I already know the answer because now Starfield's coming out. We're not going to have time. Sometime this year, are we going to play Halo Infinite's campaign co-op?
I mean, we could still play it. You can play Starfield the rest of the week, but just for that Wednesday. For that Wednesday, we can play Halo.
And then continue it the following, whatever. Yeah, I guess we can do that. All right.
Gorgons.
Thank you, Dupless. Now, Dupless, did you have that in your head, or did you look it up?
I think
don't lie to me.
He took him too long to say it. He looked it up. He looked it up. There's no way he took him too long to answer.
And if when you looked it up, how many times did you have to do the search? How many searches did you do?
Otherwise, someone would have been in there right away. Even he blocked it out.
And a shame on you, chat, for not answering this. And Dupless had to search it. Is there... Okay, Sarge.
See, Dupless didn't get the galley until the end, too.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. I couldn't hear what you asked. It's all right, Krubsy. I know you're quick.
Block it out.
Yeah, he's usually quick. No, he's usually quick at finding answers and stuff. Starfield. You're getting it on Game Pass.
I'm being dead.
You're rolling your eyes, but are you excited for the game?
I'm being very serious. Okay. Let's say the game came out tomorrow. Right? Just for example, the game comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't play it until next Wednesday.
Okay. So right.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter anymore.
All right. The next question is: Starfield comes out.
Yeah.
It's just as good as Skyrim. You played Skyrim a lot. It's just as good as Fallout.
If it's just as good as Skyrim
or Fallout 3 or whatever you like.
I will probably fall into a coma with it. Probably maybe for about a month.
Does this give you any hope for the game industry moving forward, or just for Bethesda?
It's not about changes my outlook. It's about what the game sets. Okay, I'll use another conversation that we've had in the past.
Move a little closer to the mic.
I'll use another conversation we had in the past. If Starfield, okay, I'll change it. Will Starfield set a precedent just like Baldur's Gate 3 did, where it's so good you can't look at us? Don't look. You can't tell us that we can make a game like this ever again because it's too good.
Right.
Are they going to use the same defense? If the game is really good,
right.
Do they use the Baldur's Gate 3 defense? Don't look at Starfield.
Yeah,
it's too good.
You can't
rely on us to expect us to make a game like that. Do they use the same defense?
I don't know. I don't think it's possible for people with Bethesda. Everyone in chat right now, right? Travis is saying it won't happen, Sarge. Most people in chat will be like, Bethesda's always Bethesda, right? They always have their charm with their bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but okay, just a quick note. The things that you could do in Skyrim without using cracked mods, like just the stuff that you figured out in the game, made the game fun.
Right.
The fun factor was there. If you specced out into Ranger and bows, you could actually shoot a dragon with one arrow, like the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Right. Like the the Lord of the Rings Smog.
You
hit the dragon with one arrow, and he go and just fall out of the sky like a bird.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It made the game fun.
When they flew backwards, I started laughing my ass off.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the game is going to be. I think it's just going to be the same. I do. I think it's going to be a Bethesda game, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. So if you know the haters and the shills are coming out, what's the Metacritic score?
I think it's the highest Metacritic score any Bethesda game has gotten.
The highest that Bethesda's gotten.
Yeah.
Does it beat Baldur's Gate 3?
No.
Does it beat 97?
No, I think it gets a 94, 95. I think the highest Metacritic score they got, is Fallout 4.
Was 93?
I think it was 93 or 94.
Something like that.
And I think this gets higher than that. But I don't know if it beats a 97.
A 97's a lot, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah,
I don't... Just so we're clear with chat and people who watch us, we don't believe in 10s.
No, never 10.
I don't believe in hundreds.
97's a 10.
Because there's no such thing as a perfect game. Someone can always find something about a game that's off.
Yeah, there's always something.
I don't believe in 10s. 97's a lot, though.
Did you watch Ahsoka?
No. Did you watch it?
We'll talk after this. Yeah, I watched the first episode. I didn't watch the second one.
I know you probably already don't like it.
You
already know.
There was moments.
You already know.
But the very beginning of the show, they fucked up.
The very beginning?
Very beginning.
Like the opening credits
credits were fucked up.
The opening credits didn't even finish going by before they fucked up the show?
It looked like a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, God.
They didn't even scroll like the old Star Wars stuff to tell you a story.
It was just a card?
It was just red text on flat. And then...
Ooh, big budget.
Oh, my God.
Big budget.
We'll leave it at that. Tiny Toot says, "Oh my God, Ahsoka's good."
Is he being? I don't know. Is he being sarcastic?
He might have loved it.
I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of people are gonna love it. I think if you watched Rebels, I think you're like it. I loved Rebels. I love the characters of Rebels. Yeah.
Okay.
This is like season 5 of Rebels, right? But I have a lot of issues with what they did. I'll talk to you after this. I might have a stream and talk about it after I watch the second episode over on Nerding with 30.
Let me ask you a question. The girl with the red lightsaber, right? She looks like the girl from Kick-Ass. Is that the same girl?
Oh, the actress?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
It's not?
I don't.
She looks exactly like the girl from Kick-Ass.
I don't think it is.
It's not her.
I don't think it is. I'm gonna have to look it up.
I get that vibe when I watched it.
The hell's my? Oh, let me say. I don't think it is.
Tiny, no, it's not her. Okay.
Okay, you know for sure. Okay. Yeah, they did some bad things. They did some good things. They did some good. There's hope. But I'm just like, how the hell? I know I'm more critical than most because I was in the industry and I just look at things differently.
You watch Rebels, you know about the Veil, you know how the battle.
Well, no, I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking.
How badly they fuck up the show?
I'm not even talking about the lore wise. I'm talking about like visually. Like I'm very upset.
Oh, like is like watching like a soap opera.
It's too clean looking.
Does anybody have a tumor, or their ex-wife's about to kill him?
It's too clean looking. The sets
like The Hobbit. Does it look like The Hobbit?
It just doesn't look like Star Wars. It looks like it looks too. I don't know. It just
better or worse than Mandalorian.
Visually,
yeah,
it's worse than in my eyes. It's worse than Mandalorian season 1, which I think Mandalorian season 1 was like that. They to me captured what Star Wars was.
Okay.
This, they do like the wipes and stuff like that, and it captures it. But visually, like I like Ahsoka, I like Rosario Dawson, right? Yeah. They nailed her, but the cast of characters that they put in, like I'm not even talking about Sabine or anything. I'm talking about like the background and like the sets. Maybe because I know they film on the volume, and the way they walk like super slow. The way the story's going, it's very slow paced. It's very like, it's just. The pacing's bad. Their outfits are too. I don't know.
Like they all look like they're on the Love Boat.
It's hard to. I'll have to show you. Okay. There's something missing.
Yeah, Star Wars. Star Wars is missing from Star Wars. That's usually the answer. Star Wars is missing from Star Wars.
30 Has a Trained Eye is better. You think it's better than Mandalorian season 1? You would say the pacing is slow. It's slow's being nice.
Is it glacial?
Okay, there's literally a scene for 6 minutes.
Yeah, where nothing happens.
Where nothing's explained, nothing's said, no words are coming out.
Oh, that's stretching. You're just stretching.
But this happens a lot through the first episode. I didn't watch the second episode yet.
Do you watch Andor?
No, I never saw Andor.
I already told you I don't care anymore at this point. The last thing I watched and I had a tear in my eye is the ending of season 2. Was it 2 or 3 of Mandalorian when Luke was on the ship?
That was peak.
Yeah,
and then everything after that is that.
I stopped watching after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Yeah, I think I might have a show after I watch season or episode 2. I think I might have a conversation, not like a full breakdown. It's more like if anybody watched it and you want to talk about it, I'm gonna have a stream on Nerding with 30, my other channel, and we'll just talk it out. Maybe you guys could win me over. Maybe you guys could make a point. I'll be like, all right, I can see that, right? But there's a lot of stuff. I'll just say like lightsabers mean nothing anymore, right? And if you saw the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, lightsabers mean absolutely nothing anymore. Okay, so. Appreciate everyone hanging out for episode 362 is in the can. We do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us each and every single week on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back next week on Generation X Gaming for episode 363. We're just 2 episodes away or 3 episodes away from watching 1 episode every day of the year. You can sit there and watch every single episode, 365 episodes, just 3 weeks away, Sarge. And we can have someone watch every single day, and you would have an episode. You can watch us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. Spotify, we also do the video there as well. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. We do streams on Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We go over news stories. Chat, you are 100% part of the conversation in the show. So come on out, hang out with us in the morning. And then 8 p.m. to around midnight or so on Monday through Wednesday, we play video games and talk and stuff. So come on by. Starfield's coming out. We're going to be playing Starfield live stream, and I'm also going to be producing some videos for Starfield as well. So appreciate it very much. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Game on, guys.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.